If you love all the gals of the galaxy, you're going to love this episode tonight.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another interview-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Grace. And I have to say, you guys have the best theme music. Wow, that was a banger.
That is actually our other co-host that does the music. So
Yeah,
he does all of our music for us, but he's not here tonight, so we'll let him know what you said.
Okay.
But yes, we have a special guest tonight, Grace. Grace is kind of new to our podcast fandom and what we do here. If I remember correctly, we crossed paths on Instagram via Bricks Animation.
Yes, that sounds right.
Which is Dazdor's Instagram that he does Lego animation stuff on. So Dazdor is one of our fans.
Okay.
And so I forgot to tell you this because I don't think we talked about this, but we made the fans basically made a Star Wars fan film with us.
Okay.
And through voicemails, it's a movie length fan film.
Wow.
And we asked the fans to illustrate them by sending in their own artwork. And Dazdor did stop motion Lego animations for it, and he did most of it, and he did some fully animated scenes. So that was what he created, that Instagram, and then you found him, and then you followed us, and then we followed you back, and that's how it happened. So if it wasn't
the rest is history.
Yeah, so if it wasn't for that, so you should go check that out when you have time. The Voicemail Cinematic Universe is the name of our fan film. It's an hour and a half long, and it's great. So go check that out.
100% adding it to the list.
All right, cool. So I thought Grace's Instagram, she does cosplay. I thought she has a great style to her cosplay, and she posts fun stuff on her reels and stuff. So I was like, want something? Grace seems like a cool person. We got to do interviews after the Ahsoka series. I was like, I'm going to send her a message on Instagram, see if she's interested, and she was totally down for it. So she's here. Glad to have you. So if you want to tell us anything about yourself, go right ahead, because people like Will from Last Week in Redfall, everybody knows them, but no one knows you. So
I'm new around here. Okay.
Yeah. So who are you, Grace?
Yeah. Well, it's actually so funny that you remember that origin story, because I was trying to think about it in advance of the podcast. I was like, how exactly did I find their Instagram? Because I remember seeing it and being like, wow, this is so cool. This is the podcast I have been looking for. And then I actually didn't listen to any of the episodes because I was busy or something, but I had scrolled through your Insta. I know. I deserve that. Yeah. And then I got Jeremiah's message and I was like, oh gosh, now I need to start listening. And as I said, I have been totally binging and obsessed with your podcast. You really you fill a needed gap in the Star Wars fandom, especially in the coverage you do about the animated stuff, the books, whatever. So I was very excited to be asked to be on the podcast, and we'll definitely be checking out that fan film. But as far as who I am, my name is Grace. I am currently a law student in my first year of law school. And so very nerdy, both about school and also about things outside of school, hence the interest in Star Wars and cosplay. And yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else relevant that I should share?
Oh, whatever you want to share. It's you, whatever you want. So yes, so that's cool. We're happy to have you, like I said. And I think you're going to give a lot of great perspectives tonight because
Mm.
people have been listening to Drew and I for almost 4 years or longer with the Mandalorian podcast originally. So
Mm.
people I think are going to like what you have to say. But we should always just start out with your Star Wars story. So how did you become a Star Wars fan?
Yes. Um, I got into Star Wars when I was pretty young. It was something that my parents shared with myself and my younger brother. We didn't watch like a ton of movies and TV when I was growing up. My parents really wanted us to read, which is why I'm such a big nerd now. But we had this tradition of like going to garage sales on the weekend. And if we like found an old DVD or VHS, especially of like a classic movie, my dad would let us buy it and we'd watch it. And so one time we were at one of these garage sales and we came across this like VHS, which is crazy. Like now I wouldn't even know how to use a VHS. Like I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but like those like bricks, crazy.
Been a while since I've used one, but I could figure it out again.
Yeah, and we found this box set of like the six, the prequels and the original trilogy movies, and we got it. And I remember that like before we like actually watched them, my parents felt like I think I was probably 9 and my brother was maybe I was 10 and my brother was 7. Um, and they like felt like they needed to give us a little bit of a preface. They were like, okay, like there's the original movies, but really like the start of the story is like these movies that came out later, and like episode 4 is really the first movie. And I was so like intrigued by this concept of a prequel and out of order. And I'm pretty sure in that process they like totally spoiled the entire plot. They were like, yeah, this Darth Vader guy, he like is actually Luke's father. Like all of that was
Oh,
just
they ruined
immediately
that for
spoiled.
you?
Yeah, oh,
Oh,
100%.
boo.
Right? I don't know if my parents will ever listen to this, but if they do, like, yeah, let's shame them a little bit.
Okay, we will.
Uh, yeah, so we watched the movies, and I didn't love the original trilogy. I was sold on there being a princess, Princess Leia, and she showed up, and she just like was wearing this boring white dress, and I was like, not interested. Uh, and then the prequels, though, I was so into. I loved, loved, loved Padme. I loved all of her outfits. I was just totally obsessed and like completely heartbroken when she died. Like I didn't really understand as a kid, like the concept of a big character in a movie dying. Um, and yeah, so we finished all of the movies, and that year for Halloween, like it was like for sure we were going to all dress up as Star Wars related characters, and I was insistent on being Padme. But of course, there were like no Padme costumes available. Like there might have been Leia costumes, but like Padme, like and my parents didn't really want me dressing up as the character that died in childbirth anyway. So I think my brother went as Darth Vader or something cool, and I ended up going as like a non-Star Wars character, and that was kind of it. And sorry, I know this is taking a while, so I'll
Oh,
try to
that's
wrap
Oh,
it
no,
up.
you're good. No, you're
Last
good.
week we went 4 hours, so
This
you
is
can go as long as you want.
so smooth compared to last week's 4 hours, so don't worry.
Oh no. Yeah,
If
one
we
of the
get-
issues with being a law student is I am good at talking, but please feel free to cut me off whenever.
Oh, no, you're good. We're good at talking too. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Um yeah, so we continued to like watch and rewatch the Star Wars movies a lot when I was a kid. But again, because we weren't watching a lot of TV, I did not watch Clone Wars and Rebels like when it was airing. I know a lot of true fans did that. I did not. Sad. I when like the canon era Star Wars books started coming out, I did read some of those and I liked them. And then I had kind of like a dark patch in my Star Wars fandom. I would say like during high school, early college, I was just so focused on studying all the time. I didn't actually watch any of the sequel trilogy in theaters, which is very sad. Yeah. I did watch them later, but not in theaters.
We
Um,
didn't miss much, so you're
yeah.
Well, we'll see when she does her movie rankings how she really feels. But
No, I
anyway,
think we're mostly aligned on our opinions on the sequels. Yeah, and then like I guess late college, I had a friend recommend the Clone Wars animated stuff to me, and I was like, no, thank you. But then, I don't know, I started like watching one episode every night before bed and I still kind of hated it. And then I finally got to the Mortis arc and I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
man,
season
God, this is
3. That's where
good.
it
Yes,
takes off.
season
Yep.
3.
Season 3.
Like, wow. And I was totally hooked from there. And I feel like that kind of kickstarted the next phase of my Star Wars fandom, maybe like the adult phase of my Star Wars fandom. And yeah, I started really enjoying the Disney Plus shows, diving back into the canon books and the non-canon books, which I'm still not really caught up on, and the comics a little bit here and there. And yeah, the rest is history.
So is there anything canon wise of the Star Wars that you haven't watched yet? Like any of the shows that you haven't watched, or have you watched everything?
I've watched everything. Well, I haven't watched Rise of the Resistance.
What is...
What's Rise of this?
Or is that it? No, is that the? There's some Resistance
Oh,
show.
Resistance.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't even know the name.
That's fair.
Right. Yes, that is something that a lot of people have not watched, but I think it's still worth watching. It's the most kiddish of the shows,
Okay.
but it gradually gets better and better, and there's some actually really, really good episodes here and there that I think are on par with some of the best like ones in Clone Wars and
Jeremiah's the only
Rebels.
person I know that's ever watched that.
I watched it. I watched it live as it came out, and I watched the first season on cable because it was on like a cable channel,
Yeah.
and like I was just living like my parents moved out, and like I was staying at the house, and I didn't need cable anymore, and so like we canceled cable. But then how am I supposed to watch it? So I actually bought the season 2 like on Amazon as they came out the next day. So like I paid $60 or whatever to watch season 2 of Resistance.
Oh
Wow.
no.
And now they're free on Disney Plus. Who knew? So,
Wow.
but yes. So, anything else about your story?
No, that was mostly it. I know you wanted me to talk about how I got into cosplay as well, but I figured I
Yeah.
would do that kind of separately.
Yeah, well, you could do that now because it's part of your story. So, it seems like based on your Instagram that it's something more recent you've done. So, can you tell us more about like what got you into cosplay and how you kind of got into your groove of the style that you do of cosplay?
Yeah. It's a good question. I guess like dressing up. Again, this sounds so nerdy. Wow, I'm really outing myself, but like
But we're
dressing up
nerds too, so don't feel embarrassed.
I mean, have you seen the thing behind me?
True. I wish I could achieve that level of nerdom someday.
You're
in a few
in
years.
good place. Don't worry.
Yeah, but as a kid, like again, because we weren't watching like a lot of media content, we did a lot of dressing up. Like we always had this big box of dress up stuff. And my brother and I would like dress up, do role play, whatever, classic kid stuff. We were always very into Halloween. But again, like I said, I never did a Star Wars costume. And I would say like late college, start of my master's degree, I started just like putting together costumes for fun, like slightly more complex costumes that were mostly related to stuff that I was really enjoying, like Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Marvel, like fantasy stuff. And I would like put together costumes and like take a picture of it, and then like not do anything with it. And at one point my mom was like, "What are you doing? Like this is so silly. Like no one ever sees these. You don't even wear them out on Halloween. Like you should either stop or like do something with it." And I had like seen people on Instagram who had these cosplay accounts, but I was like, "Oh no, like I couldn't do that. Like I'm not confident enough." And I also felt like a little embarrassed. Like I don't know. I don't know a lot of people like in my day-to-day life who are as into Star Wars as I am, or as into nerd things. A lot of my friends just want to be like, "Oh yeah, let's talk about this like Shakespeare play that I read," and it's boring and whatever. I'm not interested. So there's a place for that. And so yeah, I wasn't confident enough. But at some point, like I guess it hasn't even been a year now, but yeah, like last spring, I had been looking at cosplay accounts on Instagram again, and I was like, you know what? I should just do this. Like, I have some that I've done recently. I had done like mostly closet ones, but still, and I figured I could post them. And so I made the account and I started posting, and I it was both like a good challenge for me and encouraging me to continue making cosplays, and like building mastery in a skill that isn't just like academic. And it was like, more importantly, a really nice way for me to build community with people all over the world who were equally passionate about this thing that's been like such an essential part of my life for so many years, in which I didn't really feel like I had an outlet to talk about before. So that's what I've
That's
been
cool.
most grateful about, like the fact that I get to be on this podcast with you guys and, whoever's listening, talking about something that I think is really cool and that, I wish I could talk about more often. So, yeah, that's the story there.
All right, cool. I like your style of cosplay because it's very like simple things. Like some people, they go all out and they spend hundreds of dollars on a costume, thousands of dollars. But
Thousands, let's say thousands.
like a lot of yours, it seems like it's this simple thing that you could find at the store and just put together, and it looks like it's like your own interpretation of a character, and I think that's really cool. So
Well, and I think that's really cool about that too is like it makes it so that it's accessible for multiple people. Like it's
Yeah.
more like, oh, I can go to the store and find that same stuff at Target and figure out how to make it look like a cosplay, you know? And like I feel like it's intimidating. Like we had on Retta, which she's a Mandalorian, like she's part of the Mandalorian group.
Yeah.
And in that podcast we were talking about how like I'm always afraid to even go talk to the 501st at con because it's intimidating. Like there's like a book bigger than the Bible that they have of every rendition of every character, and this is how you do it properly and stuff, and it's very intimidating. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. Like, what's a good outfit, and like, how much is it gonna cost? And she was talking about one of her friends has a R2 unit that costs like over 10 grand. And it's
What?
yeah, but it's like live action. It's like fully like it could be in a movie.
Oh my
That's how,
gosh.
but so like to have a person that comes on here and like talks about how you're a cosplayer, but then you're this stuff that's very accessible to everyone. I think that's really cool. It's a really cool way to get your foot in the door and take that next step into cosplaying. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really
Yeah.
nice of you to say.
Yeah. Maybe
I'm
you
glad it
could.
seems that way and that I have a unique style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you could start like a YouTube channel of like how to's, like simple step by step how to make a character that people like give
The only
them
one I've ever
ideas.
seen is like the how to make Han Solo, and it's the fall Han Solo season. Have you seen it?
That meme
I
is so
just
funny.
saw those memes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Han Solo season ever. The best.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, that's your Star Wars story.
Yes.
But now let's get to the meat of the episode with all these top twos. So,
Okay.
Drew, what's the first top two that we'll be going over?
So the first one is what is your top two ships? As in not relationships. Jeremiah makes me always say that. As in flying vehicles.
So,
Thank you for the clarification.
Yep. So I'll go with your number two first, and then finish with your first one. Top
Okay. Yes, my number two, I would say, is probably pretty basic. I picked the Millennium Falcon. It's, hard not to like it. Cool ship, nice design, very circular. It's great in the original trilogy, right? I feel like it's like one of the highlights in the movie. It looks so good, even in an era before they had like CGI at the level that we have today, or however they're doing ships. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I feel like there are so many good memories and iconic scenes associated with it, like Han and Leia's kiss, the like never tell me the odds. I don't know, like the classic hyperspace thing. So that was cool. And then yeah, like I went on the ride, I forget, Smuggler's Run or whatever it's called at Disney for the first time this summer. And like that just was a magical, life-changing experience. So based on that alone, I feel like I had to have it on the list.
Right.
Did you go to Disneyland or Disney World?
I went to Disneyland.
Okay. And
Was
Have
that
you guys been to
Florida or is
either?
that California? I don't know which one is.
Land is California.
Okay.
World is what
Florida.
is it? Hollywood Studios, technically, I think, is the
Maybe I don't know.
part of the world that it's in.
Yeah.
But Drew, how many times have you been?
To Galaxy's Edge 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
I've
Yeah.
gone 0 times.
You've never
I'm-
been?
I'm
No.
not a travel person. Like things like that don't always get me excited. So it's like
He would love it. He just
someday if there's like a
apartment.
Star Wars celebration in Florida or
Mm.
Anaheim, then maybe when we go to that, I'll go. We'll see. But
Wow.
I'm not. It's not.
I think I'm
important to
going
me.
back in October of next year.
Oh wow. With your son?
Well, actually, no. Well, yes. I'm taking Miles for the first time, but we're going to Miami first because my wife got Taylor Swift tickets, so we're going to
Wow.
we're going to Miami for that, and then we're going to be going to probably Disney World and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Fun.
That-
And it was
that
right
sounds like
before
fun.
Halloween, so it's going to be like all Halloween themed. So it's going to be kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Gosh, I'm jealous. Yeah, I already want to go back. I'm trying to convince my family to go, especially so they can pay for it, you know.
Yeah, I get that.
Mhm.
All right, cool. So Millennium Falcon number 2. What is your number 1 ship?
My number one, and it's like number one by a lot, I would say, is Padme's ship. I forget exactly what it's called, and I meant to look it up and then I didn't. But do you guys know what it's called? The silver
The
one,
silver one.
like a Naboo cruiser or
It's a
something.
Naboo Starfighters, I think.
Yes.
What it's called? No,
No, because that's
no, that's the N1 Starfighter, which is different than the Nubian. Because
Okay.
Watto was like a Nubian.
Oh yeah. Okay, there we go.
Nubian Starfire.
Nubian. Well, Grace, you
Will,
tell why, and then I'll go look it up for
no,
us.
Will can check it out. Will's back at work.
Okay.
Will, can
No,
you check that out, please? Thank you.
I just have always found like this to be the most beautiful ship, and like I'm not a big ship person. I'm not sure like why that is. Maybe it's like more of a guy thing. Who knows? But like this is the one ship that if I was going to have some sort of ship merch, it would be the one that I want. I love how like sleek and shiny it is. I like how it has a role in multiple movies, at least 2 of the prequels, right? And 3, is it in all 3?
It's
It is called a
Naboo Royal
Nubian.
Starship.
Will said
Or-
Nubian. I don't know.
Well, it's complicated. It's the people of Naboo use it, but Nubian is separate from Naboo, which is confusing.
It is?
But
Nubian.
it's technically a yes. So because Nubian is its own planet, they make their own ships. So it's a
Oh.
J-type 327 Nubian starship.
Okay.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Wow.
That's what
I was not going to
technically
come
is.
up with that, but that's good trivia. Thank you.
There you go. Right down.
Yes, what else did I want to say? Yeah, I think it's cool that it's Padme's ship, right? Like she has this bougie ship all to herself. I like that for her. And I love that we got like a tie-in to the ship, like a Naboo style ship in the latest season of The Mandalorian when we see like the Grogu rescue. I think it's not the same ship. Like I read a bunch of articles and
Like
I think-
if it is Anakin's.
No, I
Or
think
what was
it's
your question?
actually like if that's the same ship from episode 1 and 2 and stuff. I believe that it's the same. I think it's actually supposed to be Jar Jar's ship.
yeah, I saw
Because they're
that
both
too.
from Naboo and he's a senator, and so people are like, oh, because Jar Jar is the voice actor was Kelly and Beck's actor. What's his name?
Ahmed Best.
Ahmed Best. So like it was supposed to be like a double tie-in. Like Ahmed Best, voice of Jar Jar, is using Jar Jar's ship.
Yeah,
was supposed to be
okay.
the thing.
Oh, I like
But-
that. That makes it okay. It makes it better. It'd be slightly better if it was still Padme's, but yeah, I like
Right.
that.
The question is,
Oh.
where's Jar Jar? That's my real question. I just want to know what happened to Jar Jar. But don't we
Yeah.
know what happened to Jar Jar though?
We do. He's in a canon book that after the fall of the Republic, the galaxy basically blamed him for having Palpatine elected because he's the one that like we need a new chancellor or whatever.
Oh yeah, he did.
And
do
so
that.
they shame him. He goes basically in exile, and he's like a street juggler, juggler
Jugular.
on
Well, he
Naboo or
probably
whatever.
does.
And
Well,
kids are like making fun of him and taunting him while he's juggling and stuff. So it's kind of sad.
which is why he turns to
The
Dark
dark
Jar
side
Jar
becomes a
and is
Sith Lord.
actually the real Sith Lord.
Yes, of course.
Makes
That makes
sense.
a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that canon book to come out, though.
So
The
are
story
we.
of Darth Jar
Every day.
Jar.
Someday.
One day. Have you seen those artist renditions of Dark Jar Jar?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, there's one
Oh, yeah.
that's super.
There's one that's so scary.
It's like
You can look it up afterwards.
it's a really scary looking.
It's like he's like
Gungan looking.
foaming and he has like fangs. It's really
What?
It's
Oh,
really
Yeah, it's
no.
really scary.
it's really cool.
But
I want to cosplay that. That would be dope.
That sounds a little advanced for me.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
but cool. Anything else you want to say about that ship?
Yeah, there's one other thing. Like, you guys probably know this, but I thought it was really cool how in some of the Darth Vader comics, you actually see that like Palpatine gives Vader Padme's old ship kind of as a way to make him, like sad, I think, but then also like he has the ship. So in some of the comics, you see him like flying around in it, which
That's
I think is
Wow, that's
really
kinda
dark, but also
terrible.
cool.
Interesting.
See, we're not very familiar with the comics. Like,
So it's cool to get some insight on that.
yeah,
But
like Andrew's our comic book guy, kind of.
Okay.
But we don't like diehard read any of those. We're more booky related, I would say.
yeah, but there's still so many books. Like we've only
There's so
done
many that we haven't even.
we've
No,
only
it's
done
crazy.
what 10 canon books on the podcast, and there's dozens out there. So it's like
10 is a lot, though, dude.
it is a lot, but
Especially most of them are like 4-hour episodes. It's a lot.
right. All
Yeah, I don't
right.
know how you guys do an episode on a book, especially those High Republic ones. They're so dense and there's so many characters and stuff.
Yeah, it's complicated, but
Remember that one, Jeremiah, when we did the one and you didn't realize he was an actual rock?
yeah, well, we'll move on.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was funny.
All right, cool. Top 2 ships. All right, next up, top 2 lightsabers. Which
Top
for some
2 lightsabers.
for some people it's kind of difficult because they just kind of look all the same unless you zoom in on it and look at things. Like for me, sabers was a hard one just because I think they're all the same. But how was it for you? Was it easy for you? Was it hard for you to come up with some sabers or what?
It was pretty easy. I honestly had more than 2 that I wanted to talk about. But I guess I'm not necessarily picking mine based on like the aesthetics of the hilts. They're more based on like the color and connections and stuff.
Okay.
Do you guys have your own sabers? If so, which types do you guys have?
I don't. Drew has 2?
3.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the Maul saber
Oh my gosh, so
from
cool.
Galaxy's Edge. And then I have the Raider saber from Galaxy's Edge.
Hmm.
And then I have one from ICCC Con when we did like a live panel there.
Cool. Nice. I have Ahsoka's Clone Wars Season 7 sabers.
Oh dang.
Yeah, they're my prized possession. They're, I don't know, some sort of online store. They're not from Galaxy's Edge. I didn't build
honestly,
one.
that's kind of better. Did you build one?
No, I didn't. That was the thing. It's because I had already invested so much in these other sabers. I didn't want to build one. But when I go back, I'll build one for
I
sure.
could definitely like. I would tell people like to buy one. Like they're good starter sabers, but like if you're gonna spend that much money, it's almost better if you just go find a better one online somewhere. Because like the motion of them they're not like more motion censored or like anything like that. You can buy them better like off a website for honestly the same price. Like my ICCC exclusive one, and it's supposed to be like it's like an Inquisitor saber.
Ooh. Cool.
And it kind of has like a Mandalorian. So if you look, it has like the T visor in the hilt, which
Oh,
is
that's
kind of cool. And it's all black, and I didn't know this until after, but this screws off. You can actually add another one, but it's way more motion censored, and it has voice effects and like all that stuff. And it was like $100 when these ones
Oh
are
my
really
gosh.
expensive, and like so, yeah. But building one though, I would say is worth it because it's a whole experience.
Oh
Like
gosh.
the whole video, like the whole acting and picking the saber at Galaxy's Edge and all that stuff. It's worth it. It's
Oh,
still
I need to do it. Okay.
yeah.
Another reason I need to go with my parents so
Yeah.
they can
So they can pay
finance
for
me
you.
building the saber.
All right, cool.
Yeah, no, but my favorite sabers. My number 2 is Mace Windu's saber. I honestly could not tell you anything about the hilt, but I assume it's cool. It is the saber that I like first started like that. I don't know. As a kid, I got really into primarily because it was purple. The moment I saw it in, I guess we see it for the first time in Attack of the Clones, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like immediately hooked, and I was like completely invested in Mace Windu from then on out, despite the fact that like I don't know, his character across the prequel movies is not like the most exciting, but I liked him just because he had the purple saber. And I remember again, like when he died, I was just so shocked and like upset, potentially even more upset than when Padme died. So that's my number
That
2.
saber just went out to the abyss, and
Yes.
some homeless guy probably has it.
Who has the saber? Really?
I don't know. We'll never know, I guess.
I mean, they
Maybe
can
I can
find
find it.
Anakin's, or they can find Luke's, or whatever. They can definitely find Mace Windu's.
I'm assuming the clone troopers gathered his body and stuff, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Well, maybe not. I mean, obviously
Or
he
he
has the
didn't die.
saber because he's still alive, running around with it. That's the answer.
Good answer. If you fall
That's
in
what
Star
some
Wars, you
say.
don't die in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, number 1 saber.
Yeah, number 1 is like 100% Ahsoka saber. It's really hard for me to pick which of the Ahsoka sabers I like the most. But I think I have to go with the white ones. Like the white ones that she has in Rebels in particular are just so cool. And I really love the idea of like white being the purified
Mhm.
kyber crystal. Like I think that's really meaningful. And it's also just like really cool. When I got the like Clone Wars season 7 ones, I was really on the fence about getting her like curved ones that she has in the show because they're white and I don't know. I really like them as well. But in the end I didn't. I think that like the hilts of the season 7 ones are cooler.
Yeah, I think you made a good decision. Have you seen the Galaxy's Edge ones of
No.
of the Rebel ones? They look like giant footballs.
Oh,
Like they're
yeah.
They're
huge.
super thick.
They're like literally
Like a
this
Pringles
big.
can.
Yeah, it's unrealistic. It's so bad. I don't know why they did like that, but they did. Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, I think my number 1 saber was season 7 Ahsoka sabers. I
I
think.
don't remember what
Yeah.
mine was.
I
Wait,
can't.
let me see if I can just grab mine so you can see them.
Yeah, now I really want to see them. Oh yeah, those are
Oh, there
clean.
they are.
Right. Oh, something just fell off of it. I don't know.
Those
Yeah,
are
but they're
good.
beautiful. The
Yeah,
only thing I don't like is they're kind of hard to charge. You have to like take it apart in order to charge it. So like a lot of the time they're not charged and I
they're
therefore
just
can't
always
use
dead.
them.
Yeah,
Right.
those look sick. I like it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I always dreamed about buying Jeremiah a saber set one day.
Don't waste your money on
Yeah.
a saber.
One day.
A saber or 2. It sounds like you need to get the same ones.
I don't know. We'll see.
Galaxy's Edge does have those ones, and those look clean, but they're more display pieces.
All right. Cool. Those are sabers. Drew, what's up next?
What is your top 2 droids?
Droids. Yes. Okay. My number 2, I'm not sure if this is controversial or not, is the droid from Andor, B2 Emo.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a good one. He's cool.
I like it. That's a good
Uh,
answer.
I know he's not the fiercest, and like, I'm not exactly sure what he actually is able to do, given the fact that he seems to be broken. Um, but he's just so cute and like wholesome and sweet, and it's like a running joke in our
Sad.
family that we
He's
always have like, oh, mom,
like-
dad.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, another piece of, I don't know, merch I would like to have someday is a little mini B2, but I do not yet have one.
Cool.
My number 1 though is more classic. Like it has to be R2.
Okay.
I know R2 is not as cute as some of the other options, like, BB-8, really cute, can't argue with that. Chopper, very vicious and funny, like, can't argue with that. But R2 is just like our classic droid. I love the fact that he's there throughout all of the trilogies. I
Mhm.
like the idea that he's like the one who has all the details of the story about what happened, like across the great tragedy of this family. I think that's very poetic. And he's like also a badass, right? He's like out there in battle, flying ships and shooting and, you know, catching droids on fire with oil or whatever happens in Revenge of the Sith. So yeah.
Right.
Uh, yeah, he's really cool.
Jetpacks. You fly
Jetpacks,
around.
yeah.
Which we totally didn't know until that movie. And we're like,
No. He was
another
just holding back on
P5
us.
moment. Yeah,
Fun.
that's sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, but I did want to say, like, when I went to Galaxy's Edge, though, I didn't build a saber. I did build a droid, and
Did you
I
build a R2 unit
I
or
made an R2 unit. Yeah.
sweet?
Um it was embarrassing though, because like I had a lot of difficulty building it. Like I don't know what your experience was, Drew, if you built one, but like
I
I
did
put the
build
legs
one
on
actually.
wrong
Oh,
and the guy
really?
got mad at me. Oh yeah, like cuz the kid
The
next to me
guy
was
got
having no
mad at you.
issues, but yeah, I couldn't do it, and like they're like, what's this adult doing? She can't even build the droid properly. I don't know.
Why did the guy get mad at you?
Well,
That's
I think he
weird.
was annoyed that I was like holding up traffic because I was assembling the droid incorrectly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, actually, me and my wife built it. I think it was actually mostly her design, but it's like an orange R2 unit that I have. It's the
Oh,
one in the
cute.
corner right there.
I
But
can't see
it's
it.
Well, you can see it on the YouTube version.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Oh,
Different
okay.
yes, you're
Yeah.
using 2 different cameras right now.
Yeah, I guess I
Uh,
don't know which one you're looking at. If you're looking at Discord or I don't
If you're
know.
looking at Discord, you can't see. If you look at Zencaster, you can see it.
Yeah.
But
okay. That's too technologically savvy
okay.
for me. I'll stick with one camera.
But yeah. So yeah, it's like all orange, and then
Hmm.
after she built it, I'm like, so were you just trying to build Hopper or Chopper? And you just didn't have the right head, and she's like, who's Chopper? I was like, never mind. This is the original art piece.
Oh
Apparently.
no. Oh, I love it. So fun. Okay.
All right. Cool. Next up, top 2 creatures in Star
Hmm.
Wars.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about this category? I think this one was harder for me.
I don't know. There's a lot of different animals in Star Wars to go from, so I don't remember it being
I
too
don't
difficult.
remember what my answer was, but for sure,
Well, we know what
Tauntaun
yours.
was in there.
Your Tauntaun was your number
Oh,
I
one.
that's
know
a
that's
good
my
one.
number one.
I can't
Hmm.
remember. I think mine was a Lothwolf.
Oh, that's a great one.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
what are yours, Grace? Number 2.
Yes. My number 2 is a Lothcat. Uh,
Hmm.
because they're cute. That was the primary reason.
Fair.
I
Good
think
answer.
was it Letta? Like one of the interviews you did recently said that they liked Lothcats, but they just liked the animated ones, not the live
Retta,
action
yeah, Retta
ones.
said
Yeah,
that.
Red
Yeah.
Oh,
said
Retta,
that.
sorry. Oh, yikes. Okay. Um, I am like the opposite. I feel like the animated ones are fine, but what like really won me over to Loth Cats were the live action ones. Like it looked so funny in live action, and that made me like it more. And like again, really want one in real life if that ever becomes an option.
That's sweet.
Cool.
And then my number one, it has to be Porgs.
Okay. That's funny.
That's
I
awesome.
know it's one that kind of comes with a lot of baggage given the movie that they're in. And also like the whole, I don't know, Chewie eating a porg controversy.
I think that's why they're cool to me. But
Thank you. Me too. So I'm a vegetarian, and I just think it's like funnier that like there was controversy over it. Like it's very good.
Yeah.
Chewie has to eat. It is what it is.
you gotta eat something.
Yeah.
Nobody ate after that when he couldn't.
No, but they're really cute. I love the eyes. I would love to have a stuffed porg. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I wasn't exactly sure what counted as a creature. Like I like some more standard ones as well, like Ewoks, really cute. But I felt like maybe they
Yeah,
were like characters, not
I think they're
creatures, so I
more of
didn't
an
include
alien
them.
species than.
Okay.
That's kind of like the hard thing because they're technically like
Because like
humanoid,
if
like,
they're sentient,
are
they're not
sentient
a
beings.
creature. But if they're not
Okay.
sentient, unsentient, or whatever, desentient, I don't know what the proper opposite of sentient
Even
is.
decent.
But yeah, I always, whenever I send these lists out for interviews, I always forget to clarify it for people. Not alien species, but like animal species. So
Yeah. So you answered it properly.
Okay.
yeah, good job.
That's good. Amazing.
But also
Wow.
Ewoks are awesome. So
They are, yes.
yes,
All the
especially in
Ewok
Battlefront
haters
2.
out there. I don't know what they're
Have you ever
thinking.
watched the Ewok animated show that's not canon on Disney Plus?
No, but I know that you guys have episodes on
I
it.
want to believe it's canon, Jeremiah. Okay.
And they got the 2 live action movies too from the
Those
80s.
are not canon.
Those are not canon, but those are also on Disney, and we did reviews of those movies. So.
Somehow, what's his name knows how to speak English, and then he forgets how
Yeah.
to speak
So
English.
the Ewoks in the live action movie, right,
Yeah.
and the animated show,
Well, the anime show is a cartoon, so like
they speak English,
Okay.
fluently.
but and it's supposed to take place before episode 6.
Okay.
But then in episode 6 they don't speak English.
Okay. What?
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's like Wicked in the middle of the so like the first movie he doesn't really speak that much, but in the second movie that's supposed to lead up to episode 6, he like fully speaks basic, like he starts saying some words and then he like is fully talking at the end of this movie. And
What?
Jeremiah makes a cameo as Jeremy in it too.
no,
which
there's
is
a
kinda
character
cool.
named Jeremit, and they say that's my nickname.
But
But
anyway, so like we were watching this and we are doing a breakdown. Like, wait, so he forgets how to speak basic at some point in time. He just forgets everything.
yeah, which is funny. They're terrible movies, but they're funny
They're
to
called
watch.
80 movies. Like
Okay.
it's what they are. Like
Yeah.
But the animated show is worth watching, or are you guys
fun.
joking about that?
We
I
still
don't
do
know.
it just for fun when we need an episode, and we have one on the schedule coming up because.
Oh man.
But they're kind
I don't
of
know. It's
they're aimed
kinda
for like 5 and under probably.
my kid loves it. He loves
Okay.
the
and
song.
he's 2, so
Yeah. So is that
That tells me everything I need to know. Fair enough.
it's fun. I think it's more acceptable than like a lot of the first season of Clone Wars, honestly. Like those filler episodes of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I enjoy Rebels more than Ewoks more than that, personally.
Wow.
Jeremiah would
Okay.
probably definitely
I would
disagree with that.
disagree with that, but because the next episode that we do for that would be just the 4th episode, and there's like what 20 episodes in each season. There's 2 seasons or something, so like there's a
Yeah, and it
lot of
gets
them.
canceled.
But go
But
watch
Droids
those
was-
in our breakdowns
go
of
watch
those
Droids.
episodes. All right. Well, that was top 2 creatures. Drew, what's next?
What's your top 2 musical themes / songs?
Ooh, okay. This one I was super excited about. I am obsessed with the Star Wars music. I'm pretty much listening to it on a loop like all day when I'm studying. So it was really hard to pick just two. Um, I picked for number two, Binary Sunsets, just because it's
Oh.
like a classic, and I felt like I couldn't not pick it. It's so iconic. I feel like when it plays, like even if you're not watching the movie, you kind of like get the goosebumps imagining the scene of like Luke standing next to the
Mhm.
hut, looking out at the sunset. Yeah, that was the main reason why.
Right.
Um, and my number one though was again like a number one by a lot. And it's the Across the Stars love theme.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a good one. Don't feel ashamed for that one. I like that one.
yeah, okay. I'm glad that you also like it. Like I know whatever there are many criticisms we can level at the romance in the prequels, but I think if anything is selling the romance, it's the theme. Um
Yeah.
anytime it's like getting a little shaky with the dialogue or the acting, like the theme kicks in and I'm like, yes, oh, they're so in love. Wow, wow. So yeah, anytime I like want to feel emotional or like want to relax, I put that one on and it was like embarrassingly my top song on Spotify last year.
That's awesome. That's so
Which meant I couldn't share my Spotify Wrapped with anyone because it was just like too embarrassing.
That's funny.
Yeah. But I did want to shout out also like the Leia theme is really good, the Rey theme really good. The like I don't remember what it's called. I think it's just like Anakin Obi-Wan like when they're fighting on Mustafar, like
Yeah.
really good. Um, yeah, there are too many good ones to limit to only two.
Yeah, it is very difficult to narrow them down. But
I don't even remember my.
no, you know yours.
What is it?
It's
I
the
don't.
Cantina theme.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
That's his song.
That yeah, that's it's a
Mm,
classic. I mean,
it is a classic.
All right, cool. Well, so this next one, Grace requested it be put in, and I looked at it and I was like, well, we are doing this top five next month on our schedule. So spoilers for our schedule. But she wanted to do top two quotes. I was like,
Mm,
we'll be doing it soon, so she can do it. So, what are your top two quotes in all of Star Wars?
yeah.
and make sure you say it twice so I can write down so I can use it. And I'm just kidding.
Oh man, well I feel like I backed myself into a corner on this one because I suggested it and then I like
Instantly
didn't
regretted
didn't like properly
it.
prepare and pick only two. um, no, but I wanted to do this one because when I was like finishing my thesis for my master's last year, instead of like working on only my thesis in the final weeks like I should have been, I like made this whole elaborate plan to have the table of contents correspond to like different Star Wars quotes, but make it like kind of subtle so the professor wouldn't notice that they were Star Wars quotes. Anyway, I spent a lot of time looking at quotes, and there are like a lot of good ones, and um, like I do, of course, love, you know, never tell me the odds or I love you, I know, but I'm not going to pick those. I picked instead slightly less well known ones. For my number two, I picked. So this is how Liberty dies with thunderous applause. The like Padme quote at the end
That's a
of
good
Revenge of the
one.
Sith.
That
Oh,
That
you like it?
no,
that
that is a very good. I like that.
that's a
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have that on my list now. I gotta remember
Oh,
that's
that.
it. I that would be a cool tattoo to get too. That quote.
right?
That'd be so intense. I know I like that one. That's a good one.
Okay. I feel validated that you
Yeah,
guys also like it. I wasn't sure because Padme doesn't have a lot to do in that movie, so it's like a good final moment for her
she's
before
just
like
there
the
so
end.
that Anakin turns to the dark side, basically.
Honestly, she gets
Yeah,
pregnant. She kisses him behind a pillar or two, and then
and
everything's
then that's
done
it.
from there.
Yep.
Yeah. And then my number one in um is I am no Jedi, like the Ahsoka quote
Oh
from
yeah,
Rebels. Oh,
that'll probably be on my list too.
yeah. I
Yes.
don't know about you guys, but I can just like go back to that scene over and over again and watch her be like, I am no Jedi. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
so inspiring always.
Yeah. Those are two solid ones.
Mm,
All
yay.
right. Cool. Well, we're about the halfway point now. And
Okay.
so you know what that means. It's time for a coffee break. So,
Yes.
Mm.
Grace, do you drink coffee?
I love coffee. I'm obsessed with it. Honestly, addicted.
Perfect.
Well,
Well, we
you're
got a
gonna
deal
love
for
this,
you.
man.
So let's take a listen to our sponsor for today, Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea, based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And if you want some coffee, use our discount code and you won't be disappointed. So let's take a listen.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code Empire Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
it.
All right. Cool. All right. So,
So while you guys listen to that break, Grace ordered some, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I was doing on my phone. I was
Yeah.
just ordering like a bunch of bags of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
what kind did you pick?
I just got to order that just actually came in by someone else.
Perfect.
All right, cool. All right, so now we start getting into some of the juicy ones.
Whew.
Okay, this is where things can get heated. Is where people are most passionate about. So, Drew, what is the next category up after quotes?
Your top two characters.
Okay. Well, I feel like this one probably won't be heated. I think you can probably tell from the way that I've been talking about things, my top two characters. My second favorite character is Ahsoka.
Okay, perfect, good.
Good answer.
Yeah,
Good
yeah, I
answer.
know it's a popular character on this podcast, so feel safe saying it. Yeah, no, Ahsoka's like a character I got into a little bit later because I didn't watch the animated stuff until I was older. And I think maybe like many people, when I first watched Clone Wars, like the opening seasons, I was kind of there for Anakin and Obi-Wan. I wasn't like too invested in Ahsoka. And again, it was a bit earlier with her. Like I think the first time I really got attached to her was maybe the episode arc when they're trying to blow up the factory on Geonosis, and I was like, oh wow, she's really cool.
Yeah, with
Barris.
Barris. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good arc. I feel like I don't see it on enough like recommended lists. Like
right.
everyone should definitely watch it. Yeah, and then I just got really invested in her character like development, her relationship with Anakin, like her, desire to forge her own path. And I was like grateful that the story continued with Rebels and then, eventually that she ended up in the live action stuff. So yeah, she's my second favorite character. Also she's like really cool and a badass and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific era of Ahsoka that you like the most? Because we got Clone Wars, we have Rebels, and then we have live
Mando.
action.
Yeah, I mean the Clone Wars era. I like snippy Ahsoka. Yeah, I like her banter with Anakin. I like her like flipping around a bunch. I like her being confident and like not quite yet like broken by the war and everything else that happens.
Did you enjoy the live action rendition of the Clone Wars Ahsoka?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I thought that was really, really good. What's the name of that actress? Ariana Greenblatt or something?
Yeah, something like that. She's Gamora in
Yeah.
young Gamora from
And she's
Infinity War.
also in Barbie, Jeremiah. Don't forget
Oh
that.
yeah.
I haven't seen Barbie. Sorry,
Have you
So
seen
good.
Oppenheimer?
no,
I
I
haven't seen
haven't seen.
Oppenheimer, but I've seen Barbie like 3 times.
Guys, Oppenheimer's really good. I think it's better than Barbie. I've
Um,
seen
I
I've seen
No,
Oppenheimer twice.
I really want to see Oppenheimer, but is this still in theaters?
maybe like the cheap ones that like
Well, then
go to.
I want to see. I heard it's really good in like IMAX because it's like
Yeah.
intense. But then there's like certain theaters. It was like they were saying it was almost too loud. Like they're getting
Yeah.
complaints from like the studio, the Sony theaters. You know, Jeremiah, what I'm talking about? They have one here.
Oh, I don't know.
They have a theater that's like Sony surround sound theater, and like the speakers are like in the seats. And apparently they pulled it off the first week because it was just too loud for those seats.
They don't have a dial in the control room. Like turn it down a little bit.
I
Like
don't know. I have never gone to it. That's just what I heard.
yeah. Well, I don't know. For movies, like I usually don't see a lot of movies in the theater. I'll go see Marvel
Star Wars.
movies,
Yes.
but I'm probably not going to see this next one because nobody cares.
No.
I'll watch
We
it.
have to be the change. We have to care.
I'll watch it when it's on Disney Plus in 3 months, but
You mean 2 weeks, Jeremiah? Chill. 2 months.
I don't know. We'll see. But I usually wait till movies are on whatever.
This is
streaming
the first
platform.
Marvel movie you're gonna miss in theaters.
First one in a long time. Like I think last one would have been.
Ant-Man. The new
No, I
Ant-Man.
saw that. It would have been before Black Panther, the first Black Panther movie. I think I've
Oh.
seen all the movies. I think since then.
Are you planning to see it in theaters, Drew?
Oh, I don't even plan to watch that movie. Honestly.
Oh,
From the
no.
trailer alone, I'm like, I'm good. I got the whole movie is in the trailer. Just go watch the trailer.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. I care
And-
about the story, but it's just like it's the shortest Marvel movie. It's only like an hour and a half or something like
Yeah.
that.
Which is
And,
crazy.
and it's like there can't be too much that we're gonna miss.
2 episodes of Loki is longer than that.
Yeah.
And the new season of Loki, like, are you guys caught up? I haven't seen
Yeah.
the
I'm caught up
last
with Loki.
week's.
Spoilers if you haven't caught up to Loki.
Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna spoil anything. I just like I'm having I like season 1 better than season 2. I'll just say it that way.
True, but I think season 2 is gradually getting better and better though.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
the last. I think I might be 2 episodes behind now, actually.
There's been 4 episodes.
So no, I'm just 1 episode behind, but then tomorrow I'll be an episode behind. So, I'll be 2
Yeah.
episodes behind.
I think it really started heating up with episode 4. Like you might be
Yeah.
one over, but I see what you're saying too.
The last one I watched was the 18.
The 1879.
That was
or
episode
whatever.
3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one in Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm.
It seemed like it was getting better, but the first one I was like, wait, that's it? And then also we have to wait another week. Like they didn't double up on us. Like,
Yeah.
and it's been like 2 years and I forgot all the story plot.
Oh
Like,
yeah, 100%.
I forgot. I was gonna rewatch the first season again, and then I
Yeah.
forgot, and then I was like,
I was
super
so
confused, but
confused and like
I'm all back on track now, but
I'm still confused. We
Yeah.
might have
You'll
to
be
talk
fine
more
once you get-
afterwards. I have no
keep going.
idea really what's going on anymore. Except Loki loves himself. That's all I know.
Yeah.
but who
I
doesn't
get
love
it.
Loki?
Yeah, exactly. Like he deserves to love himself. He's beautiful.
Yes, Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, Ahsoka. Yeah,
number
did
one.
you guys like the actress that played the
Yeah,
Clone
I
Wars
thought she
Ahsoka?
was
Yeah.
great.
Oh no, I
Okay.
love it.
'cause
Okay.
she is 17 as of right now. Like so, like when
Okay.
that was filmed, she just turned 17, I think, or she just turned 16. Can't remember. So like when they filmed it, she would have been like 14 or something like that, which was
Okay.
how old
She filmed it
was.
before she filmed Barbie, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think when she was 14 probably when they filmed her, which would have been how old she would have been in season 1 of Clone Wars. So
And if you listen to our episodes, Jeremiah is very particular about the actors being the same age as the characters.
I don't.
Oh.
I am.
Just yes, you hype on that a
Uh-oh.
little bit too
I
much.
do.
Yeah, it's
Do you
your
have an
thing.
issue with the Phantom Menace then? Because I feel like the ages are all over the place, like between Phantom
I
Menace
don't
and
think I
Attack
have
of
a
the
problem
Clones.
with ages of actors. I think we had a debate about Padme once,
Mm-hmm.
like Natalie Portman, but
But that's what I mean.
that's not an issue. That's just one conversation we
Yeah.
had. But
Have you
Ahsoka's
seen
number.
the? Well,
What?
you probably haven't. Never mind. I was gonna say, have you seen the new? They're releasing Little Annie as a Black Series figure and Padme from Episode 1. Padme
I
looks so evil. It's so weird. Like they did the face sculpt so bad. And
Oh
then someone in the
no.
chat was talking about today too. They're releasing Life Day Chewy with his red like robe.
yeah, I saw
And
something about that.
I'm definitely gonna get that because it looks so cool.
All right, Ahsoka is your number 2. So who is your number
Number
1?
one character.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the last thing on Ahsoka though, since you guys just brought up the age, like it is crazy how young she is across like so much of the Clone Wars storyline. And I don't think I like that really clicked with me until I saw the live action version. And I was like, wow, this like young child like went through so much. And I think that just makes her character that much more
Wise.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my favorite character is like Padme for sure.
Oh, we should have guessed that.
Yeah,
What were we doing?
Padme. I thought I was gonna guess Leia
well,
because
it's
you have a lot of Leia cosplay too. So I was like, oh,
But she's been saying Padme all night. The ship.
but doesn't it say on your Instagram that you're
Yeah.
a law student by day and Leia by night or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're outing me. That's the thing. It's that I don't look like Natalie Portman. I look closer to Leia than I look like to Padme. So
I
it's
guess that is
better to
true.
cosplay Leia than cosplay Padme.
That is true.
That is. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. But I mean, I love Leia too. I've like grown to love her more, especially like as I've gotten older. And I don't need the princess character to be wearing like a princess dress. I've matured a little bit in my taste. But yeah, Padme was like the character that resonated the most with me when I was young. And then I still think to this day is like the character that I would get along best with in real life. Like I don't know that Ahsoka and I would have a lot in common, but I feel like Padme and I would like, I don't know, maybe like nerd out about some history or like bond over
Lost Boys.
perhaps like a nice meal in Coruscant, an opera, something like that. So and I think just generally like I always thought her character was so cool, the fact that she was elected to be the ruler of an entire planet. I mean, is it believable? No, but like is it cool? Yes. At 14, I really like. And then like she continued to be committed to being a public servant, despite the fact she could have just easily had like a comfortable life with her seemingly rich family on her rich planet. Again, to the end, she was very idealistic and powerful, and she was also able to like fight, physically and with her words and actions as a senator and queen. So yeah, for all those reasons, I like her.
Good answer.
Cool. Good answer. Yeah.
Um,
I don't think we've
and-
had Padme on anyone's top 2s. I don't even think it was any of our top 5s for the 3 of us. So definitely a noteworthy character. I can't argue against that.
Yeah. Oh, and it like maybe you guys probably wouldn't like it. I don't know. They are more girly, but for anyone who might be interested, I thought the Padme books were really, really good and like add a lot of depth both to her character and her backstory and explaining some of like the weird Naboo stuff that like just doesn't really make sense in the prequels, and also like providing some backstory to her handmaidens, one of whom like the main one that's played by Keira Knightley, Sabe, like ends up having not only like a pretty big role in the book, but also like a big role in the Darth Vader comics. So it's like a nice continuation of the prequel story, the Padme story, through her handmaiden. So I'd highly, highly recommend the Sabe like Darth Vader comics to anyone who's interested, and the books.
Have you read like the Leia books?
I've read the Leia books, also really good.
Like Bloodline and those ones.
Yeah, I which is the one where it's like 16-year-old Leia? Is that Bloodline? No.
I think Bloodline is the one that's post the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I have read that one.
I don't know all the books.
That's the only
but-
one I know anything about. But
Oh.
Andrew, our other podcast host, his wife loves those books. So
In the like prequel Leia one, she gets like an alternative love interest. So that was kind of like a fun contrast to Han having Kira.
yeah, that's cool.
Hmm.
You read Lost Stars?
No, but I heard on some other podcast that you're a big fan of it. Tell me more.
No.
Of all time, and I can spend all day,
This
but
is-
Jeremiah refuses to read
This
it.
is the book that he wants us to do.
That
the
we
most.
need to add that to our list, Jeremiah. As our questions. Have you read Lost Stars? Yes. or no?
I said maybe
2025 or something stupid.
Valentine's Day 2025. We'll do a Valentine because for Valentine's Day in 2024, we're probably going to do Dark Disciple. So,
Okay.
which is, do you know about that one?
Yeah, it's the one with
Ventress
and Quinlan.
Quinlan, their love
Mm.
thing. So
It's good.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Bet
Yeah,
you
it's
Lost
steamy
Stars.
is the word I would use.
Ooh.
steamy. Oh, is it kid friendly for this podcast? Like I don't know.
I don't 100% remember, but like potentially not. I would maybe check before you do it.
We'll gloss
Ooh.
over some things.
We might have
Yeah.
to switch to Lost Stars or something.
You might have to
Oh.
switch to Lost Stars.
If you haven't read it, you should definitely read it because
Okay.
Someday we'll do it. Just not. But that
I've
day
read
is
it
not
6
today.
times. It's hands down
6
the
times.
best Star Wars book. And there's
Wow.
a couple of our fans that agree with me.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Jerica would love us to do that one also.
Yes, it's so
Okay.
good.
I'm gonna
Highly-
add it to my
highly
list.
recommend
I'll
it.
get it. Yeah, easy. I trust you. 6 times is a lot. It must be good.
Yeah. If I feel down, I'll just start listening to audiobook of that. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh, it's not like characters we see anywhere else though, right? It's like a
No,
one-off.
It's like 2 characters from the same planet,
Hmm.
and they both join the Empire together, and then one of them
Okay.
splits off. I'm not gonna tell you more, but
Okay.
it's like they're developed as these 2 characters throughout the galaxy, all the way up until Episode 6. So
Hmm.
it starts before A New Hope, and then they like it. So good. It's just so hard. It's so good.
All right, moving on. Let's see where are we
Okay.
at.
Now I want to
So-
go. I'm probably gonna listen to it this weekend.
Next up, a really big one. Top 2 moments in all
Oh,
of Star
boy.
Wars. So many
Oh,
iconic ones,
boy.
important
I know.
ones.
I know.
What are your top 2?
Yeah. I'm curious to hear what your guys' top ones are after I do this. Because like you said, it's so hard to pick. But the one that I picked for number 2 is the Mustafar duel.
Perfect. That's definitely a good one. I think that was on all of our lists, maybe.
Oh, good. Okay.
I think so too. It's
Mm.
pretty good.
And when you guys say Mustafar duel, do you include the like, conversational elements?
Oh yeah,
Okay, good. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm including both, the fight and the conversation.
perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for obvious reasons, it is both really emotional, like, the dialogue that's happening with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and also Anakin and Padme, like, near the ship, is great. And, like, I know a lot of people have it memorized. I don't think I have it memorized. I bet you guys do.
Most of it. I don't know. So
No,
don't
I'm
too much pressure
lying.
on me now. I would have to say.
Yeah. Just Padme gets choked out and
Hmm.
goes into early labor. Yeah.
And then
I got
Obi-Wan has his hands on his.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
Superman pose.
What?
Superman pose.
Oh, yeah. A funny story with that part, before I continue, like, when I did my master's degree in like Middle Eastern history, and I had to learn like some Middle Eastern languages as part of that. And in order like to entice us to study more, our teacher was like, you could watch movies that you like in a foreign language, like the foreign language that you're studying. So I was studying Persian, and my Persian teacher I asked her like, could you provide me like any Star Wars movies in Persian? And she like managed to find Revenge of the Sith in Persian, and she sent
That's
it to
so
me.
cool.
Yeah. It is
That's
really
so
cool, but it was from some sort of like illegal Iranian website.
Yeah,
So,
Don't
first of
look it
all,
up now.
yeah, no. Definitely was giving me viruses. But second of all, because it was like, yeah, I know. I'm like, for sure, like the Iranian government's probably listening in now. Who knows? Anyway.
Hello there.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. That's the Skywalker.
Um,
All right. That's awesome.
but because they have like all of the like rules and regulations about, you know, like what's allowed to be shown on TV and whatnot there, the like dubbing was not complete. So like when they wanted to censor something, it would just like cut out. So like half of that scene got censored because it's like, you know, I don't know, too emotional. Especially the Padme stuff. It was basically all censored. So it would be like 3 lines of dialogue in Persian and like big like no dialogue, no sound.
They just
And
mute
they're
it.
just talking. Yeah, they just mute it.
That's funny.
So anyway, that's all I
I,
really
I
think
have
about.
watched those movies 1 through 6 in Japanese dub. Make
Whoa.
it feel like an anime, and like
Okay.
but then you hear the Japanese in the background. It's really cool.
Do you speak Japanese?
No. But
Just
I'm
for the
super into
vibe.
anime and like reading like watching like anime and stuff like that. So then my brother-in-law is really into it, and so
Okay.
I came over one day and he was like watching episode 3 in Japanese. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then I just started
Wow.
watching. I'm like, "Oh, this is actually kind of enjoyable," because the voice actors they picked were like other anime popular voice actors. So
Wow.
like this added it in, and you just read the dub. But I know it. I know everything that's really going on, so
Wow.
I could actually like really enjoy it, and the voice
Hmm.
acting is really fun. Yeah, but no, I do not speak Japanese at all. I wish
Fair
that'd be
enough.
cool.
Grace, have you watched Star Wars Visions?
Oh my gosh, no, that's the other Star Wars show I haven't watched.
It's
Oh
not
no.
canon, so you're not like missing on canon, but there's some really, really good
Should
ones.
go
You
watch
gotta watch
those.
those. And they're really short.
Okay.
They're like
15 minutes,
15, 25
20 minutes.
minutes each, so they're not that long. And
Okay.
And it's
Hmm.
all like, well, the first season's like all Japanese studios that
Oh
do
wow.
animes and stuff, and then like they did their rendition of Star Wars and their own
Mm.
personal stories, and it's not canon. And then season 2 is like a bunch of different anime studios or like art studios throughout like the world. And you
Hmm.
get them like
yeah, there's
South Africa. South Africa one's super cool.
Wow.
There's a lot of
Ireland.
really cool
There's one
ones.
from Ireland. There's one
Yeah,
from like France. Like
Brazil.
they're great.
Wow.
So
The
you
French.
And
gotta
they're
go
all
watch
just
those.
like 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're just really short ones,
Wow.
and
there's
but
animated short films. They're
yeah.
one little stories, and there's some of them are really good, like mind blowing good. So
Yeah, and
Hmm.
like there's backstories on like how they did it too, and like some of them are like based off of like real like World War II history. One of them, it's like really cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
believe I
Grace,
haven't
you're
watched
missing
probably like
out.
it.
this.
Huh?
Hmm.
Grace is missing out. So
Yeah, I think you would like it. It's really sweet.
Hmm. Okay. I guess I just didn't watch it because it wasn't canon, but yeah. I shall add it to the
Fair.
list.
You should
Before or
add it
after
to
the Ewok cartoon?
dude,
before
definitely
Ewok,
before
after
Ewok.
Lost Stars.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Deal.
All right, so
Oh,
Mustafar. Anything else about the Mustafar
oh,
fight?
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It has the iconic "It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground" scene. Love that. Um, love the music, like I already talked about. I love how it's like cheesy. Like their fight it feels like very choreographed, and it's like weird that they're jumping everywhere instead of just like standing in one place and fighting. But I also think it's like so fun to watch every time. And like so emotional because you see how like close they were and they've lost everything, and they're so evenly matched because Obi-Wan trained Anakin, like all the classic stuff, which you know you guys have said and other people have said, so I won't repeat it.
All right, cool. So
Mhm.
then your number one moment.
Yeah, okay, my number one moment, and like this one was a strong number one again, is the like closing scene / epilogue of season 7 of the Clone Wars, like from when Ahsoka is standing there looking out at all of the clone trooper helmets and like the graves, and then drops her lightsaber, and it's like the loud, like, I don't know, boom of it hitting the ground, and then it cuts to like Vader like walking through the snow and picking up the lightsaber and igniting it, and having Morai like up above circling. I think it's like such an incredible culmination of all of the years of the Clone Wars, and it's just so sad. Like, anytime again I need to feel like a bit emotional, I just turn that on. I must have watched it like 100 times at this point. Just that last like 3 minutes, I find it so beautiful, and it's crazy to me that it's animated and yet still so moving.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, agreed.
Yep,
All
definitely.
that.
So you asked what our favorite moment. So I remember that Drew and I actually had the same number one, and we didn't know it until like we revealed on the episode. Do you remember what you said, Drew?
No clue, but enlighten me.
It was the Ahsoka and Maul speech in the throne room before
Yes.
they duel,
Wow, yeah, it's such a good one.
because it fundamentally changes how we understand Star Wars.
Yeah, it's so good.
So
I'm pretty sure one of my favorite moments was the Tauntaun moment, wasn't it?
it was when they. All right, you gotta tell Grace your joke.
You know what
Yeah.
the temperature of a inside of a Tauntaun is?
No.
Lukewarm.
Yeah, terrible.
It's the best joke. It's like my only Star Wars joke I got.
Did you make that up, or did you
No.
find it somewhere? Okay.
No, actually, oddly enough, I heard it from the seller at the adoption center at Galaxy's Edge when I adopted my Tauntaun.
Really? That's where you heard it?
That's where the person, when I was like signing my adoption paper to adopt my Tauntaun stuffed animal, she's like, "Do you know what the temperature of a Tauntaun is internally?" I was like, "No, lukewarm." And I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Wait, I get it." And then I stole it and I use it all the time. I actually told a coworker today that joke.
Yeah, and what did he or she say?
He thought it was really funny, and I told him after I told him my duck joke.
Your what joke?
Your
My
duck
duck joke. You know I haven't told you that.
I don't think so.
Why does a duck have tail feathers?
Why?
To cover his butt quack.
Oh my
So
gosh.
bad.
So
What?
bad.
We have a history of dad jokes on the podcast.
Oh
So
no.
That one came special from Amazon because I asked Alexa to tell me a joke, and that was what she.
that's what it came up.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
All right. Anything else for your top moment you'd like to mention?
No, but I'm glad that you guys also had a Clone Wars moment for your top moment.
I think
What was our second one? Do you know?
my second one was probably the Kanan Jarrus death scene.
Oh yes,
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure 4 of my 5 were animated moments.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
So I think the Ahsoka versus Vader animated thing
Mm-hmm.
was one of them. And I can't remember what the other animated one was, but
I probably would add like the issue is like we've done these so early, and now there's so much more content that
There's
comes
so
out,
many
and
we
you're
could
like,
probably add
oh,
more.
like what would I adjust it? I
'Cause I
definitely probably would
probably-
add the Anakin,
the live action Anakin and Ahsoka stuff
Yeah.
is probably
Mm.
especially when
just
like
the whole
they're-
episode is my favorite moment.
that
probably.
whole thing, I'm
If
pretty
that
sure,
counts.
right? It's
Uh,
one moment.
All right, Drew. What's up next?
What's your top 2 least favorite moments?
Mm.
So this one could be juicy. What do you hate? It's basically what scene do you hate the most?
Top 2
Stuff.
scenes you hate the most.
All right. Well, I knew I had to pick one from Rise of Skywalker, and like
Okay, so what'd you go
All
with?
there are so many options to pick from in that movie. Like I really like, and I didn't want to have 2 from that movie. Anyway, I decided to just go with the very last scene.
Oh. Hey, go ahead. We all know what it is, but you can go ahead and say
Tell
it.
us. We all want to know.
And I say this from a point of like great empathy and try not to be a huge internet hater, but like it's just so stupid. She's there next to the hut, and first of all, she buries the lightsabers. Like, what's going on with that? Why are we burying those lightsabers? That's like an important historical artifact. At the very least, put it in a museum, but like, don't bury it in sand. So
She's storing
disrespectful.
it for later on.
Okay. Really?
Probably. I mean, she's
Okay.
having her own movie 15 years later. You don't think she's going to go to the desert and blow some sand away and find those things?
I guess.
Probably.
Would
Or
that be
Twisted
good,
Raider
though?
has it somewhere.
Yeah.
Either way, they're not going to stay there for long. Let's be real. Or Ewoks are probably walking around with two sabers. They're just dueling in the background all the time.
That's what
I mean,
Mace Windu's saber is with the Ewoks.
yeah.
And then yeah, it's just so stupid when like the random woman comes by and is like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, why is she asking? And then she has to say like not only her first name but her last name. Like, I don't know. It just felt very unearned and like frustrating. And oh, and then like the Force Ghosts come, but like Ben isn't there, and like, you know, why does she want to see Luke and Leia but not like where's Ben? I don't know. Just little things.
And the thing is that's most frustrating about that is, like, in that movie, they're setting it up for her to embrace who she actually is, which is
Yeah.
a
But then that's
Palpatine.
not actually who she is.
And then
Mm.
she didn't say, I'm like, it would have made more sense for her to embrace her Palpatine
Yeah.
heritage, despite like what the galaxy would think of her. Like that would have been.
Which, and honestly, if they just changed the movie title to Rise of Palpatine, it would have been so much cooler.
Huh? Yeah.
Like,
You're right.
it would have made so much more sense. Palpatine came back.
Mm,
There's no rise of anything Skywalker in this movie.
mm.
The only semi Skywalker in it gets his life sucked out of him by a kiss. Like, that's all that happens. And he's not even a Skywalker, he's a Solo. So,
Mm.
Anyway, yep. So that's your number 2.
Yeah.
Your number 1 least favorite moment.
Yeah, okay, so the other movie which I feel like has a lot of cringe moments is Attack of the Clones. I think there's a lot to like about the movie. I think Padme looks great in many of those outfits. And they play my favorite soundtrack, Across the Stars, a lot. So those are 2 big check marks. But yeah, a lot of the flirting is just really bad.
and it gets everywhere, doesn't it?
Really bad. And like some of it's just like awkward, you know, the sand, but at least that's a meme. It's fine. And then some of it's like feels very creepy. And I don't know if you guys remember this scene, but every time I rewatch it, it makes me cringe. The one where like Padme is packing her weird suitcase and they're like in her room and Anakin's just like weirdly complaining, like unprompted. And then she says something like, "You've grown up," and he says something, and then like she ends up having to be like, "Don't look at me like that. It makes me uncomfortable." And he like does this weird like sneer, like, "All right, my lady," or like something really weird in response.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Yeah, we know that movie.
Yeah, so that one,
Proud
it's
of you
just
for not
uncomfortable.
picking anything though from episode 8. I thought you went straight to Broom Kid, but
Drew hates
No.
Broom Kid for some reason. We'll never
I
understand why, but
hate
Tell me more.
We've talked about this so many times why I hate Broom Kid.
I still don't get it. Whatever. He's just a hater.
That movie just
That's his least favorite movie of all time, basically. But
Wow.
probably
Like 11 out of 11.
like
Yep.
11 out of 11 at 14 and 15 if you want to find those movies. It's
Fair
probably
enough.
on like it's definitely down there as one of my least favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. I get that given all of the emotional like connection to
Like-
Star Wars. Yeah.
Like the last Airbender movie is definitely still my least favorite movie of all time, but
Mm.
all right.
it's in
Well,
there.
Grace, you mentioned that, you know, the flirt scenes in Attack of Clones. Now, we've got to talk about this, but on your Instagram, you have pictures of you going to 2 historical Star Wars sites.
Oh,
And
sweet.
one of them is the balcony
First thing?
scene when the sand scene.
Yes.
really?
So can you maybe quickly tell us some stories about your trip to, is it Italy?
Yes.
And then
Tunisia.
Tunisia to the homestead.
Oh, you've
Mm.
been to the
So-
homestead?
I have.
That's so much cooler than going to Galaxy's Edge. Between.
Yeah, wait, I can talk about the homestead first and then we can finish on the
please.
love scene. It was really cool. Like I finished my master's degree like last spring, and then was starting law school into the fall and was like, I don't know, pretty tired from school and stressful life. So I decided to do like a big trip. And it was mostly going to be in the Middle East just because that's what I study and like where I wanted to go for like research language purposes. And then I realized that like all of those Tatooine scenes had been filmed in the Middle East in Tunisia. And I started looking into like, are these places you can visit? Can you see things there? And like, sure enough, like a lot of the sites are somewhat preserved. And so my parents were horrified. They were like, absolutely not. You cannot go to Tunisia alone. So they employed my brother and 2 of his friends to come with me. But we went and it was awesome. And like, I highly recommend to any diehard Star Wars fan who like has the means to get to Tunisia. I was already living in Europe for my master's, so it was a lot closer. But if you can get there, it's really cool because all of these locations are just like more or less abandoned and like there's nobody there. Like you go to the homestead, you drive, like basically you like turn off a highway and then you like turn left, like, and you're in a desert. There's no road, there's no people, and the igloo is just there.
You can go in it.
You can go in it, you can sit on top of it. Like, honestly, we
What?
probably desecrated like a sacred Star Wars site because we did everything.
What? It's just. Oh, that makes me so sad. And
I
also
know.
excited that you can just do whatever you want. You don't have to pay a bunch of money to go. That's so
No.
cool.
Yeah, same with like there's a hotel where you can stay in like the interior of the Lars homestead. So like what you see, like the little kitchen area where they eat, like
Mhm.
drink the blue milk and stuff. Same thing. We were the only guest in the hotel and it was like, I don't know, $30 a night or something.
What? Drew's definitely going there now.
I'll wait. I'll wait a little bit right now because it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, this is not the time to visit the
I'm
Middle
not.
East.
But in like 10 years, maybe that sounds like it would be dope. I would totally
Mhm.
do that. Where in Italy is this other one though?
It's in Lake Como. And yeah, it's much more touristy. Like there are a ton of people there. A lot of Star Wars fans from what I could tell. But it's really pretty and I saw a ton of people taking wedding photos and I was like, those are couple goals. Like I respect that.
Definitely missed that opportunity.
It's not too late.
Where about in Italy is it? Like, what's a
Uh,
bigger city?
North, south, central.
Yeah, is it northern
Yeah,
Italy or
okay.
southern Italy?
Northern Italy, like an hour from Milan.
Oh, so okay.
Because
So I've been
Drew,
to
you've
Milan.
been to Italy.
Yeah, I've been to Milan. I've been to Venice, and then,
Ooh.
but most of my time in Italy has actually been in Turin, Italy.
Oh, what's there?
My best friend. Yeah. Yeah, he lives there, and then the best football club ever, Juventus. But
Yo, Juventus. Okay, nice. Wow, football too. Very European of you. A true soccer fan.
I'm just saying it properly. I'm a huge Juventus fan. Before they got Ronaldo too, so haters thinking that it's just Ronaldo. It's not. But yeah, I've been to
Nice.
Italy twice, and I loved it. And if I would have known that that was close to Milan, I probably would have tried to figure out my way there.
Yeah. Well, next time and bring your wife and you guys can do a photo shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the only way. Mhm.
cosplay too. You gotta figure that out.
All right.
Nice.
Rub sand on her back, kind of.
Oh,
Oh,
gross.
wow. Romance.
All right. So those are your least favorite moments. Next
Oh
up,
yeah.
this is a good one. Yeah, this is we've only been doing this for this streak of interviews. Your Star Wars hot take, just one, unless you
Just
gave
one.
two. But
Oh no.
what's your number one Star Wars hot take? Controversial comment. What would it be?
Oh, okay. Um, if I only am going to pick one, I think it's that I think Obi-Wan deserves a little bit more hate.
Oh,
Especially
dang, that's a hot take. Oh, dang. All right, this is
Oh,
juicy.
I don't know. I
Hey,
feel
for what? Being
okay,
awesome?
okay. Not hate, a little bit more criticism maybe. No one deserves hate per se. Yeah, I just feel like he messed up. It was his responsibility to train Anakin. He never wanted to do it. Like if you read the Obi-Wan Anakin book, you see so many times when you're like, Obi-Wan, like you got to talk to him. You got to ask him like what's going on. Like this is your job as a mentor. And then
You
yeah,
let
like
Anakin marry Padme and
yeah.
doesn't say anything about it.
No, and he like definitely knows, right? Like we see
Oh,
that in that Clone
100%.
Wars episode.
Well, Clone Wars and even in that movie, like he's like, "Oh, you're pregnant."
Oh yeah, exactly.
Is Anakin the father? Like he knew.
Hmm.
And
So yeah, I just feel like he had responsibility to be a slightly less like passive teacher, guide, father
father.
figure to Anakin. And there was something else that really bothered me. Oh yeah, I guess like in the Obi-Wan show when they like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader have the face off and like Obi-Wan like apologizes and then Vader is like, I killed Anakin, like there's nothing left. And then Obi-Wan just kind of like gives up and leaves, but like also doesn't kill him, just like kind of goes away. I found that very frustrating and like maybe indicative of larger problems with Obi-Wan's character. Like he's willing to just leave the problem of Vader to somebody else because he decides it's like not his responsibility anymore. It's going to be Luke's responsibility or like the next generation's responsibility. I don't know.
Dang, kind of getting deep in philosophical here on
That
us.
makes me question
Sorry.
Obi-Wan all of a
Dang.
sudden. I've never thought about this.
Oh, I know he's cool, but yeah, I just.
Why am I questioning Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yes. I don't like
Yes.
that.
There's a lot of people in our Discord that have hate for Yoda
Oh, yeah, that's
because they blame
classic.
Yoda for the fall of the Jedi and his failure to lead,
Yeah, I don't.
which is more reasonable than I think than Obi-Wan. But it is interesting.
Wait, what do you think about Yoda and his responsibility? I'm
I
curious.
don't. There's the one major mistake that he made was when they found out that the clone army was created by their enemies,
Hmm.
and they chose not to do anything further. And that was
Yeah,
Yoda. He's like, we have to play their game and let's let it go along with it and see what happens and see how it plays out. I'm like, that was a. I don't know what you do to address the clone issue,
yeah.
but like just saying
Kill 'em all.
we'll just see how it goes. Like it was stupid, but
Hmm.
there was many reasons why the Jedi fell, and not just Yoda's leadership. So
You're right.
I don't really agree with the discord on that about Yoda, but
Yeah, I can't agree with that. And besides, it's kind of Anakin was the chosen one. It wasn't Yoda, so
Hmm.
it's kind of his fault for not killing Palpatine right away.
Hmm.
Could have easily threw him out the window too, but he chose not to.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot of factors, but we'll never agree.
What do
I
you mean?
guess
We'll
on
never what?
the fandom will never agree on like all the like why everything happened the way it did, but there's just a lot of reasons why. So,
Hmm.
all right, that was a good hot take.
That
I'm
is
not
a
gonna lie.
really good hot take, and
That
I'll
was a good
start
hot
in my
take.
life.
Okay. I'm glad. That's what
Drew,
we're looking
what's
for.
up next?
Rank the trilogies.
So,
Oh,
so you got
okay.
3 trilogies.
Don't
What
mess
is
it up.
your
There's
least
only one
favorite,
right answer.
your middle, and then your favorite? How would you rank them?
Yeah,
Pretty
sequel is
easy.
last.
Yep. Sequels last.
Yeah.
Yep. We
Yep.
get
Has
that a
anyone
lot.
ever put sequels higher? I'm curious.
Yes. Someone put it as their number one, which was Lucy.
Okay.
Because it was like this was her trilogy that she grew up as a child. Because like she's quite young,
Okay.
and so these are the movies that were coming out in her childhood, basically. So
That's fair.
she has
And
it
Lucy's
as her
the
number
only
one.
person in the galaxy that's allowed that.
Yeah,
answer.
Lucy
Yes.
is one of our favorite people. She's our like a
Mm.
little sister to us. So
Oh.
like she gets a pass. She's the only one that
Yes.
gets
She's
a
the
pass
only
on
pass. So you're listening. Fix your answers.
that.
True. Okay. Good
But
to know.
he gets the pass.
Yeah, so the sequel trilogy number 3. Number 2 is where it gets hard because I do have like a strong connection to the prequels and the characters, and I think the story is potentially more interesting. Like I like the tragedy of the prequels, but I don't know, like movie quality wise, I have to put it number 2.
The original, you said?
No, the
The
prequels.
prequel is in the middle. Okay.
And then I put like the original number 1 because they're iconic classic.
Oh, that would be a lot of turn your
Yay,
button
right
off.
answer.
But we get a lot of that order. I think that's the most common order that we get. So
Okay.
what
And the
exactly?
right answers.
So what exactly gives the original trilogy the edge over the prequel? Like, what would you say is like the main determining factor?
I think like
Jabba.
the overall quality of the movies is just better. The chemistry is really good between the 3 main actors. There are a lot of like zinger iconic scenes and moments and lines.
I
And
mean, the
like
4 main actors. Don't forget about Chewie now. Come on.
oh, you're right. Oh god, and R2 and 3PO. That's
Oh,
more
you
than
can
yeah.
forget about
Too
them.
many numbers.
Vader.
Vader, you're right. Okay, I'm
That's the whole
sorry.
cast.
Ah, they're all great. Yeah, and I don't know. They're like more fun to watch. Sometimes I watch the prequels and I'm just like, oh god, like here's another cringe moment or like a really sad moment. And the OG trilogy is like generally pretty uplifting and like an easy rewatch in a way that the prequels aren't always for me.
Interesting.
What do you think about the first half of A New Hope?
I know you don't like it.
Whoa, not
That's-
me, not me, not me.
Oh, okay, okay.
Have you listened to that episode?
I don't know. I listened to some episode where you referenced
It was-
like not having seen or not liking the first half of the A New Hope.
It was our original trilogy discussion ranking,
Hmm.
and
And
I have my famous
the
line
biggest hot take of all time.
that the first half of A New Hope is trash.
So when does the first half of A New Hope end?
That's a question that
That
everyone wants
is-
to know the answer to.
Well, I've said this a million times. It's right when they leave Tatooine is when they is the second. It's literally like almost to the minute when they
So
leave
all of
Tatooine.
Tatooine is trash. And
So that whole opening half is
the cantina, like
Hmm.
go back and listen to all our episodes and
oh, I was
I
like,
mean, what about the part with like Leia on the ship at the beginning? You don't like that either?
what? Yeah, there's so many good parts.
it's a good scene, but like compared to like for looking at the the first half in its entirety, like one like I'm one of those people that like one good scene can't save an episode or a movie or anything like that. Like I have to look at
Hmm.
everything going on in an episode or everything in a movie and look at it as a whole. And
A scene can save the whole thing.
Interesting.
I don't think a single scene can save anything. Now, for
Mm.
Drew, that's everything. Like, if there's an episode in a new TV series and it's one scene that's like a minute long is the best thing he's ever seen, he's saying it's the best episode of the whole season.
Facts.
Hmm.
I don't remember what was my favorite episode, but it was kind of like that in Ahsoka. I remember.
Well, you
Which
said
one?
I don't remember.
we know what you said was your least favorite, and we'll be getting to that in the voicemail section.
Oh.
Oh
I can't
no,
remember.
A New Hope is my favorite movie of all time
Okay. Wow.
And Tatooine is his favorite thing ever.
in
Like,
the world.
now he's
Really?
definitely gonna go visit the homestead now that he knows that he
Yeah.
can walk up to it.
No, Tatooine is like my favorite thing. If we can spend all day on Tatooine, I'm okay with it.
Gross.
Stop.
So
Wait, now you definitely need to go to Tunisia.
I
And it
know
like
I do.
mm,
I didn't know it was like you could just go up and it's all
mhm.
chill. I would have to like I had need to like go get a Boba Fett cosplay outfit and then go to Tunisia and just like
And get
Yeah.
some skeletons that you can just put on the ground, and
on fire, black ones, like the spray paint them
because
black.
that's the rumor that Boba Fett was the one that was there. Like that's not canon, but it was canon.
Oh, I
That
like
Boba Fett,
Really?
that.
that Boba, because that was a Boba Fett book, wasn't it? In the EU that
I didn't read that.
he's I
Like
think
canon.
Andrew mentioned that, like how he was sent there to look for whoever, like what they were searching, like the plans. And when they got to the thing, like Boba Fett was with the stormtroopers, and Boba Fett with
Wasn't
his
he?
flamethrower flamethrowers and kills.
But wasn't he there though to find Han from? And in that movie,
But that's the added deleted scene later on. So the book was written
oh, was it?
before the deleted scene was added.
Because in that deleted scene, he was actually standing by the Millennium Falcon.
Right. Yeah.
And if you know the real deep lore, the guy who's the Rancor owner actually
Yeah.
played the original Jabba the Hutt.
Like because
What?
Yeah.
when you watch it now, like on Disney Plus, there's
Yeah.
a CG Jabba the Hutt that
Like the
confronts
little guy.
Yeah.
Han. But like this, if you take off the CG Jabba the Hutt, it's a
It's
guy.
the
It's like
Rancor.
it's just the Rancor keeper was originally cast as Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
I feel like I need to up my Star Wars trivia now.
yeah,
That's
because Google Jabba the Hutt scene from A New Hope, and they'll probably pop up like the comparative or something. But
Hmm.
all
I
right,
understand. Like the scene with the droids in Tatooine at the start is a little boring. Otherwise, though, I don't think I agree.
when
maybe
they're riding on the sand and there's a trail behind them, and you're like, "What are these droids gonna do?" And then they go right by the crate dragon
Crate Dragon.
skeleton. Like, how is that not cool, Jeremiah?
So that's
Doesn't make
boring.
It's boring.
It's not boring,
But anyway, we could spend hours on that discussion. But
and we have.
Yes. Oh no.
and we have. But now we're at our final category of tonight. Rank all 11 films. And this is
Okay.
a daunting task, but everyone does it. We've done it. So start at the bottom.
Okay.
Number 11, what do you got?
Number 11 is Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay. Least favorite. All right.
Um.
You don't necessarily need to explain why. Maybe
Okay, great.
but so you can just go through them. So number 10.
Number 10 is Solo.
Oh, dang.
Yep. Number
9.
9, sorry, I can't count. Is Last Jedi. And then after that, Force Awakens. And then it starts getting hard. I guess after that, I go Phantom Menace. And then Attack of the Clones. And then Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith.
All right.
All right. So for 3 interviews in a row, top 2 movies have been in the top 2 for all 3 people. Rogue One and Episode 3 have been in the top 2s of.
I really like that Rogue One is always in the top. Like, I feel like it's always in the top. It was my number 2.
Oh,
I
wow,
think.
okay.
And it was technically my number 1.
Really?
But 3, but again, 3 was my number 2. And so 3 and Rogue One, they're interchangeable. Like they could,
Okay.
I could switch them back and forth. But all right, cool. So any comments on your list on why it is the way it is, especially
Those top 2.
your top 2, top 3, you can go in a little bit more depth on why you love them so much. But
Yeah. I do. The one comment I'll make for Solo is that I think it had potential. I don't dislike it because the guy playing Han Solo is bad. I thought he was fine, and I like the character of Kira. Again, she gets cool development in the comics. But I think the ending is terrible, and like they really dropped the ball on like what was otherwise like a promising movie.
So did you see Solo before or after you watched the Clone Wars?
I watched it before.
So the whole Maul thing didn't make sense.
No.
That's why that movie is
But
so above for me, because that one scene is the best, one of the
yeah.
coolest scenes of all time.
Oh no. Okay.
So like when I'm watching, I watched it opening night or whatever at the theater, and
Yeah.
when he showed up, I freaked out,
Oh,
like
I-
because
Oh,
I
wow.
understood that he would be alive, and then people next to me who never
Wow.
watched anime were like, "How is he still alive? That doesn't make
I
sense."
cried. There was like tears in my eyes.
Oh.
And
I
I
think-
jumped up and yelled, and my wife's like, "What is going on with you?" I'm like, "Do you understand what we just watched?"
So okay, now we're gonna go on a whole thing on this, but have you? How many times have you watched Solo?
I've only watched it one time. I disliked it that much.
I
yeah.
think now that you've watched Clone Wars,
Yeah.
you can go back and watch it and you like it more. But it's like
Okay.
in season 7 of Clone Wars, when there's a scene when Maul is talking to the Shadow Collective, all the
Yeah.
leaders, and the guy, the leader of Crimson Dawn or whatever,
Oh yeah.
he's standing there in a hologram in animated form, and he's the one that's the villain in the movie. And so like it ties together, and I think just even if it wasn't the whole Maul thing wasn't there, I think it's just a fun movie. Like
Lando
doesn't-
was so good too.
it doesn't have to be the best Star Wars movie, but it was just a fun movie, and like I can enjoy it. Like there's nothing about it that I don't like. It's just that it doesn't add too much to the story. But
Mm.
I think you need to give it a chance.
Okay. This weekend, maybe that will be the first thing I try again because I think I remember there being some stuff to like.
All right. Well, that was your all right. But that's your comment
Okay.
on Solo. But your top 3, like why do you do it that like why is that your so 6? Episode 6 is number 3.
Mhm.
Rogue One number 2. Revenge of the Sith. Kind of like why is it that ranking?
Yeah, it's hard not having like any of the original trilogy in the top 2, but like having 6 at number 3 I think is the highest I can put them, just because like, well, I think the movies are good, the story is less compelling, but I do really like episode 6 and how it like ties everything together after like many movies of hardship and struggle. Like there's a happy ending. I like the scene with the Ewoks at the end around the fire. It's very fulfilling. It was really fun seeing it in the theaters like last year when it got re-released. I don't know if you guys watched it.
Oh, I did. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Seeing Jabba the Hutt, and I saw it in IMAX, and
Oh,
seeing
wow.
Jabba like right there in your face was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Um
I may or may not have cried. And
more or less than you cried when you saw Maul.
less
Mm.
that Maul surprisal, because you got to think of it. I saw episode 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I walked out of that movie, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, but
Mhm.
like, I didn't say anything, and my wife's like, "Did you like it?" And I was like, "I think." And then I saw it 5 more times, and I hated it.
And so then
And then
5 months later, 6 months later, Solo
when
comes
Solo
out.
came out, and I was sitting in the edge of my seat, like, am I gonna like this or am I gonna hate it? So the whole time I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this movie. The beginning I didn't really like.
Mm.
Like I didn't really like that alien creature.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like keeping these young kids. Like I didn't really like
Yeah.
that concept, and like the light. I thought it was like too CGI. Like I didn't really
Mm.
enjoy it. So I was like, I don't know. And then I started liking it a little bit, and then I forgot that wasn't Han, which I really liked that part. Like
Mm.
it becomes that character, and then Lando, like Donald Glover is one of my favorite actors slash music influences ever.
Yeah.
Like he's amazing. So like I love that part, and then that happened at the end, and what we should have got, and what we still maybe one day
Mm.
will get, a mall show slash movie. I was like, oh my gosh, this was the coolest thing ever. And yeah.
Makes sense.
But I also don't go back to it that much.
It's the coolest thing ever, but not cool
It was
enough
really
to go
cool in
back
that
to. I
moment.
get
And I remember
it.
that moment, and I will always remember that moment. But yeah, I understand why it's not everyone's favorite thing. Now, under 8, I don't know about that. But
Oh yeah, you put 8 above Solo.
yeah, I don't know about that one. That's really hard to
Maybe it will
swallow.
change on a rewatch. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
you'll have to update us in Discord if
Yeah,
you change
there's
your
Okay.
votes a
there's
little bit.
a channel just for the Solo movie, I believe. So you can go put your comments on that when you rewatch it.
Okay. Deal.
But
There's no
Rogue,
channel for Lost Stars.
Oh,
no,
okay.
there's not a channel for Lost
You
Stars.
should definitely make that thing.
There's
I'll make it after I read the book. Deal.
literature channels are by request only.
Okay.
Well, I just requested it.
Well, you do have administrative authority. You could
Oh,
put
that's
it in
true. I can
yourself
just
if
do
you can
it.
figure it out. But anyway, back to the
Oh,
list.
yeah.
So Rogue One and Episode 3.
Rogue One. I think it's like visually one of the potentially the most like visually stunning Star Wars movie. Yeah, it looks really great. It has some like great dialogue and interesting characters. I like how they got me to be invested in a bunch of like random new characters. I like how it's like operating on the margins of a story that we're really familiar, as in like the larger Star Wars story, New Hope, whatever, even Rebels a little bit. I think it's a little bit weakened by the fact that everyone dies at the end, but like the Andor show like is giving us new development to Cassian's character. So like I think that makes me like him even more in Rogue One. And like I don't know if they'd ever do a prequel for Jyn, but like I think she's really cool and like would be down to hear more about her character as well. And like I think the ending is perfect because at the end of the day, it's a reminder of the fact that like there were all these other people fighting behind the scenes to
Mhm.
win against the Empire, and like most of them didn't get their stories told, even though they had big roles to play or whatever.
Cool. So
Yeah.
then why is Episode 3 better than Rogue One?
Yeah, it's just like the culmination of the big emotional prequel story. It's super sad. It's got great like lightsaber fighting and whatever. Uh you know, it's like the pivotal moment where we see Anakin's fall. Um Sometime, yeah, I don't really have anything else unique to say about it. It's also just like the movie that I feel like made the biggest impact on me when I was younger, and as a result it's like the one that I always like to come back to, even if it makes me sad every time I watch it.
Right. All right. Cool. So I'll just recite your list because I wrote it down.
Yes.
So at the bottom, 9, then Solo 8, 7, 1, 2, 5, 4, 6, Rogue One, 3. Everyone's list is different. It's cool just seeing everyone's list. It's just interesting. All right. Well, that is the interview portion of this episode. So
Wow,
that was a lot of fun.
that
A
was
lot
really
more in depth than our previous two. So
fun. Oh
there's
no.
no that's good. We love long discussions. So it was played out just perfectly. I really like this one.
And you gotta think the previous 2, we interact with them a lot.
Mm.
So they can
Especially
go
the last
faster.
one.
Yeah.
So they go faster, like there's not a lot of like this is the first time I've even talked to you at all. So it's like
That's true.
it's a little different situation. With Will, I yell at him like every other day, which was the last one. So not
And then Retta is very active in Discord too.
Yeah.
So like we just all know each other. So
yeah.
it's a lot quicker. And Will is
I think-
yelling at us. He's like, "Yeah, you do," in reference to Drew yelling at him. But
And he loves it.
all right,
Awesome.
cool. Well, that just means we can transition over to everyone's favorite time of the episode, voicemail time. So let's transition over.
It's voicemail time.
That is Drew's singing
Okay, you
voice.
don't have to say that.
All right. So tonight we have 4 voicemails. First 3 are actually from one individual, Shadrick, which we haven't heard from in a few weeks. I think it was in the middle of Ahsoka's when we last heard from him.
Oh yeah, sure.
So let's take a listen to his first one.
Hey guys, it's Shadrick. Yeah, I've been kind of lazy on the last 2 episodes sending voicemails in, but dude, I am so salty I missed them. You got freaking 2 interviews back to back, and Will at that, bro. Shout out to Will, bro. But still, it was great. It was great catching up on the podcast again, and I'm probably gonna send in another voicemail about some opinions on the finale, but anyways, Florida was great. I built my lightsaber.
Oh,
A little
no.
expensive, but kind of worth it. I love it. And I went with power and strength with the green
Ooh.
kyber crystal.
Ooh.
And the kyber crystal was so annoying putting in. Oh my god.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you for that first voicemail. So, what are all the different categories for the
I
lightsabers?
knew you were gonna ask me that, and I don't know the answer to it. But it's like power and strength. And is that the wooden? I don't know. There's like a night Jedi and this dark side. I don't know. We should definitely have Will look it up for us right now, because that's why he gets paid the big bucks. But I don't remember. But there's like an earth one, and then like a metal one. Like it's like mostly metal, and it's like a classic hilt. But then like the earth one has like you can even put like a bone horn at the end of it, so it looks more like earthy tone. I don't know. Have you looked into it at all, Grace?
The different types of lightsabers? No,
Thank
not really.
Bill? Yeah.
Alright, well.
I feel like they should add more, and I don't think they have yet. It's been a while. But you have to like pick a certain like category, and then you can
Okay.
pick from options from that category. Like you can't like mix them all up, which I think is kind of disappointing. But
Yeah. I guess it's like the droid where like once you pick your type, you actually don't have that many options.
it's just color. Essentially.
Yeah.
This one you get like 3 pieces per part of the hilt. So you get like
Oh.
the bottom half of the hilt, the middle half of the hilt, and the top 2 halves. And then you get like
Okay.
3 options per that, but it's in one category style. So it'll like look kind of similar, but it makes it so like they're not everyone's building the same one essentially. And then the kyber crystal, you can pick any. And what I liked about building, what is cool about building one is that you can after that you leave that experience, you can go to the smuggler part or whatever, and you can buy any kyber crystal and add it. So like
Ooh.
if you pick one color but you want to get all the colors, you can just buy a bunch more kyber crystals and change your lightsaber all the time, which I think is kind of cool.
And it's an actual crystal you can buy?
Yeah, it's
Like
an actual crystal, and you can also use those. You can buy holocrons, and you can put the crystal in a holocron, and then like depending on the color of the crystal, it'll have like voice of someone who you would use like color. So like Yoda would be green, or then sometimes you'll get like the blue one it switches between like Anakin and like Obi-Wan, and like so like
Cool.
depending on which crystal you pick off the shelf, you don't know who it is, but like for instance, like the Sith holocron, like
Yeah.
a red one, like okay, everyone has a red one, but then depending on your crystal, it'll have a different voices, so you can buy multiple red ones and then have multiple voices. And
That's
when
cool.
they first came out originally, you would buy like the red one, and every once in a while you'll open it and it'd be a black kyber crystal for a dark saber crystal. But it's
Cool.
random. I don't know if they still do that, but it used to be like you didn't know, and it was like a mystery if you can actually get the black kyber crystal.
All right. So Will says in chat that the categories are peace and justice, elemental nature, power and control, and then protection and defense. So all depends on what kind
Power
of.
and control, I think,
It's
is
probably
like the
Sith.
Sith one.
Yeah.
Elemental is like the animal one, or like the
Wood.
earth. It's like
Yeah.
wood. And then peace and justice, I think, is just a classic Jedi one.
Right.
And the
All
other
right.
one's like, I don't know, medium.
Cool. All right. Well, next up, another one from Chadrick. And this is in response to Drew's comment that the finale of Ahsoka was the worst episode of the season. So he has some words for you, Drew. So this is coming at you.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, wow. All I can say is Drew, bro. The worst episode in the whole season? That kind of hurt me. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a little more controversial than Jeremiah stating the first half of A New Hope sucks. But oh my god. I personally think the worst episode's episode 7, because like there's nothing really happened that whole episode. And yeah, you're right. The finale is probably not a 10 out of 10, but dude, it's a 9 out of 10. No, but I look at it as a season finale, not a series finale. I'm hoping once they continue, it'll probably go somewhere. So I have hopes for that.
All right. Cool. Yep. Coming right
What was
at you,
episode
Drew.
7?
It's when they fought off the troopers, when they attacked the turtle people, and then
Yeah, but Ahsoka came back, right?
yeah, but
And her embrace with Ezra
Ezra.
was way better than any embrace in the entire show. Besides, well, the Hera
Yes.
one was really good at the end.
But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I
Andrew
don't
and I
remember
both
why.
were shocked at. I was most shocked when you said that. But if you want, okay, if you're listening and you want to hear, you can go listen to our breakdown of the finale of Ahsoka. You can get our full thoughts. Because we could talk for hours on that, and we already did. So go check that out.
Yeah, 3 hours to be exact.
Next up, another one, his final one for tonight from Chadrick. I forget what this one is about, so we're just going to discover this together. So let's take a listen.
Okay, Shadrick again. I know. I'm sending another one because I miss doing this. I miss you guys. I know. Weird, right? Anyways, these interview podcast episodes, man, they're probably one of my favorites ever. I hope y'all keep pumping them out the next few weeks because they're just great. I can't really think of anybody that I want specifically. So unless it's like Mark Hamill or something,
I mean,
that would be cool.
we want that too.
No, but for real, just keep pumping them out. You guys spark up the funniest conversations sometimes out of these. They're great. So I just wanted to shout out you guys. You guys are doing great. Love you guys. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you, Chadrick, for these, and thank you for your kind words. And yes, we do love doing the interviews. They're a lot of fun because, like I said earlier, you guys have been listening to us for all these episodes, and it's nice to get some new perspectives from people. And
yes, Jeremiah's already jumped into Mark Hamill's DMs, but no response so far. So
yeah,
we'll keep you guys updated.
See, like these people that are like in Star Wars, like the actors and producers and writers and stuff, like you can't ask them like to rank the movies. Like Dave Filoni.
With Mark Hamill, we can ask him a lot of other questions, though.
Yeah, but
we could vary the interview format. Yeah,
we can change it a little bit.
I just like I would
format of questions, no matter who you are. And
I just want to know what like these people's least favorite Star Wars film is. Like to ask Dave Filoni, what's your least favorite Star Wars movie? Or like,
do you think he would answer?
I don't think he would.
No.
That's the thing. Like Sam asked Sam Witwer what his least favorite movie is,
or
like,
Hayden Christensen.
Like any of those.
I'd probably say episode 2 because of how bad.
No,
I feel like he hit from a while from all the hate he got. So I don't know. I'd be curious. Mark is pretty else. He would actually say episode 8.
Maybe.
I
Mhm.
really think he would, because he was like saying like before that movie came out that they took Luke to like a certain direction, and you'll have to wait and see. And then after all the hate, he's like, I told you guys,
Mm.
like you have to wait and see, and like it's not what I really wanted, but I went with it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like he would probably say that if he was allowed to.
Right.
But
But we did have an interview with a Star Wars actor once. Remember that,
we
Drew?
did. Yeah, we did.
So we have a vlog when we went to Nerd and Outcon, and one of the stand-in body actors for Boba Fett in
Fett.
Episode 5, like when they're in Bespin, like that actor who like the original actor wasn't on set for a couple of days or whatever, and they had to have a stand-in, and it was this guy, and so
Whoa.
we interviewed him and have it in our vlog on from that. So that was like a 5-minute interview that we did. So go check that out. That's the only famous actor we've had on our podcast.
Yes.
Well, you'll be following me up with Mark Hamill. Easy. It's the natural progression.
Yeah. You're just under. We
Yes,
you as our number 1, you are our number 2, Grace.
Of course.
I feel like though, like if we ever get to that point where we're interviewing actors, like high-end actors like Mark Hamill, I don't know how much I could talk, dude. Like I would be so
Yeah.
scared. Like
Well, I'll take the lead and I'll.
you'll talk and be like, and all, and like
I don't think that I'd be. I don't think I'm a starstruck person.
no,
like-
I think you would do good, Jeremiah.
I think
I think I would be like wiping my drool off in the corner, like freaking out.
Same.
I would be like,
should we tell Grace your Ian McDermott story?
Yes.
So you want to say it or should I say it?
oh, you can tell it.
So
I mean,
it
it's
was
been told already on the podcast.
it was at ICC Con, right? In Nashville. So he went there
Yep.
and he goes and uses the men's bathroom
Yeah.
at the urinals, and Ian McDermott walks in next to him in the bathroom.
No way.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom next to, and he started talking to me. It was,
Which is
He did? He initiated the conversation? Like, what did he
So I
say?
had a camera
Yeah.
with like a tripod, like a little one
Yeah.
that I was like using. It was like one of those bendy ball ones, you know.
Okay.
And so like I set it down on the floor
Yeah.
behind me. Like I just had it on the floor while I was in
Yeah.
the bathroom. And then he walks in. He's like, "Well, that's a good angle." And I was just like, super. I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Oh."
said it in the voice of Palpatine, like that one.
I was like, "Uh-huh." And then, like I got out of the bathroom and I was like super girly with my boys. I was like, "You guys do."
Wow.
All right, cool, fun story. But we have one more voicemail tonight from Garrett, and for just a little context for Grace, Garrett is a Galaxy famous pod racer. He just won a bunch of races on Tatooine.
Okay.
Jabba the Hutt is supposedly chasing after him because he beat Jabba the Hutt's people that he was betting on. So he's on the run from Jabba the Hutt,
Okay.
and he's currently on a spaceship in hyperspace. So let's take a
Okay.
listen to Garrett.
Hey Empire Radio, it's Garrett. So get this. I'm chilling in hyperspace, playing holo tactics, going toward Batu, and this guy just appears out of nowhere right in front of me. He said his name was something Skywalker, I don't know. But he tells me, go to Ilum, and then just disappears. So obviously, I'm gonna go to Ilum. So I just got to Ilum. I'm gonna have to see what the heck's in store for me over here. But I have a question for you guys. Do you think that the galaxy was actually better off under Imperial rule rather than the New Republic?
Ooh.
Think about it really hard. Think about like the economy and all that stuff. See you guys next week.
All right, cool. Thank you, Garrett. You're still in hyper. This is like 3 weeks in a row that you've
Hey,
been
dude,
in hyperspace.
they don't talk about how long it takes, but it takes a long time.
Apparently, it takes at least 3
It's
weeks.
like going to Mars. It's like a couple months, you know. It takes a lot.
I think it takes 9 months to get to Mars
but
as of now. But when Elon Musk makes a spaceship or something, we'll get there
A
a lot quicker.
hyperspace ship
Electric,
A hyperspace
a
ship.
hyper,
Yeah.
electric,
that's
a
bulletproof.
Tesla spaceship.
Tesla ship.
But yes, his question: was the galaxy better off with the Empire ruling with an iron fist, or the New Republic and whatever kind of fist that they have? And so, the thing that comes to mind is the client from The Mandalorian season 1. He has that speech where he says, if you look at every metric, like economy, protection, trade, all this stuff, everything was better and perfect under the Imperial rule. And so, but he's just a fanboy of the Empire.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think the slaves that they implode would have that same answer.
Well, but the question isn't about for individual people, but as a galaxy as a whole, as a system of a civilization.
Well, I think any galaxy supporting slave labor is not good.
Okay, Grace, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I feel like I don't necessarily want to wade too deeply in on this one, but I'll take a general hard stance that, like, autocratic, fascistic regimes are probably bad. So I'm going to be anti-empire, but I'm not sure about the economics.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because it came in this afternoon. I was thinking, like, with the New Republic, I'm sure it was kind of like there were a lot of people kind of like the Israelites when they left slavery. Like, they were freed from slavery, and then they were still complaining that we had food and shelter and stuff in Egypt. Why don't we just go back?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's plenty of people in the New Republic that in that transition period, it was kind of terrible, and they wished the
it's
Empire was still
growing
back.
pains for sure.
But I think the New Republic is probably a lot better. And we haven't really seen a lot of the new. There's some books which I haven't read, but like we
I
don't
think
really
the hard
know.
part is the majority of the New Republic we've had so far is in the Ahsoka show, and we're getting it from a perspective of they don't want to listen to previous war heroes for
Right.
some weird reason.
Right.
So in that perspective, yeah, it's kind of rough to think about. Like Hera is not just lying just so she can go find Ezra. Even though her embrace was better than Sabine's, but that's a different conversation. Sorry, Retta. But like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but I feel like overall, um, the freedom that they have is a lot nicer than the freedom the Empire gave them.
Typical
might be
American
harder.
answer. It's all about freedom.
Horrible.
America. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Garrett, for that answer. I'm excited to hear what you have to say next week because you met some Skywalker guy that you don't know who his first name was going to Ilum, and so I'm thinking that Garrett might be force sensitive, and Luke wants him to go build a lightsaber. So that's my prediction on how the plot thickens. But we'll just have to wait to see till next week. All right, cool. Well,
Awesome.
Let's just get over some social media and we can get out of here for tonight. So,
Cool.
if you are new to the podcast and you want to get connected, go in the description below. There's a links.co/Empire Radio, links both 2 eyes. Click that. It's a landing page for everything Empire Radio. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. There's a link for the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it's a lot of fun. Grace just joined. So if you want to hang out with Grace a little bit and talk to her about the Solo movie, go join the Discord.
No, what is the book you're going to talk to me about? Falling Star, something
Lost
Star?
Stars.
Yeah.
That's if I put that channel in the discuss. But there is, I guess there is general literature ones that you could talk about that. Also, if you want to leave a voicemail, go.
You guys just heard some good ones.
Yeah, go. Like if you haven't signed up, just do it. It's a lot of fun. You don't even have to talk a lot. You can just say, "Hey, love the podcast," or if you want to say you hate the podcast, you can do that too. We'll still play as long as it's family friendly. What else we got? We got a fan email. If you ever just want to send us an email, go right ahead. We got that set up. Also, we have the link for the needlesslynerdy.com entertainment network, which we are part of. So if you like any kind of nerdy content outside of Star Wars, there's probably something there that you can find other podcasts and articles and whatnot. So go check that out. I think that is everything.
Grace, plug your Instagram and
Oh,
socials. And we'll make sure that
yes.
they're also down below of all this stuff, Jeremiah. Don't forget.
Yep, I'll do it.
And so you guys can click it. But Grace, tell us where they can find you.
Yeah, my Instagram is like at gals_of the galaxy. And yeah, it would be really great if you guys follow it. I try to post pretty regular cosplay updates, as well as like the occasional humor reel or like travel related Star Wars posts. So it's a lot of fun. Would love to follow you guys on Instagram and or just talk to you on Discord.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny, Drew. A few weeks ago, Grace took a picture for a reel of Star Wars napkins, and they're the same ones we had left over from EmpireCon.
She was there in spirit.
Yep. So we had a fan meet and greet this past summer where we got to meet our fans.
EmpireCon.
Wow.
So
yeah, I used those napkins the other night at dinner. I think my friend was kind of like scared, but you know what? It was a good conversation starter.
Time just play us in the background. Very low volume and just see what she says.
All
Ease
right.
them into it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, is there anything else you guys have to say tonight? Anything?
No.
No?
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no problem. It was really cool.
Yep. It was fun having you on. We love maybe sometime in the future. Who knows? We'll have you on again. We'll see.
Some updates.
Yeah.
Some updates. We have to. The only way.
February 2025, Lost Stars. Maybe we'll have you on then.
Hey, put it on your calendar right now.
Marking my calendar now, 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, you all have been listening to another interview-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Grace.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.